Play a song. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. Play a song. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna 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 turn it up and then I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down.
And morning, people. How are we doing? Well, it's been an interesting couple of days for Spurs. Up and down, I think, is an understatement. But we finally got a bloody player we needed and was looking for in a big, big way. I think he's going to be able to cover us in a lot of ways, Simmons. Plays central, plays left, plays right. Plays attacking midfield. 10 is what we have definitely needed more than anything. And yeah, things are slowly starting to look better. Of course, we need a couple of more players in there. Of course, we need to get a couple more things sorted. We need to get some depth on that team. And hopefully we can get something rolling with that. I mean, today, game with Bournemouth. I think most of us expect we should be doing that. But we all know what can go wrong. But in that aspect, the way we've played the past 2 games, scored 5 goals, haven't conceded any, looking so much tighter under Thomas Frank. Defence looks that much more stable. The whole team just looks more stable. And that is one thing I think we've been crying out for a long time now, after playing 2 years now without... It just looked like it was chaos theory on there. Many a time. And yeah, with the Champions League draws we got as well, going to come to that one. I don't think we can really complain with the Champions League draws we got. I mean, we're meant to be interested in other players. Akanji, City, 15 million. Some might think that's a good idea. Some might think that's not a good idea. I can't see the problem in it personally. And also something saying that we're also interested in Ake for 20 million as well. Are we going to go for both? Are we going to go for one or the other? I mean, other things I'm reading at the moment, we're meant to be in a bit of a competition with West Ham, Villa, and Man United at getting Conor Gallagher for 45 million. We're meant to be looking on offering a loan and then paying the 45 million after. I don't think that'd be a too sad of a buy either. I mean, the frustrating thing is, though, and it still is, I've said for a while now, I know how Spurs work. I think we all know how Spurs work. And as long as we get the player, that's what matters at the end of the day. But why do we always have to leave it to the last minute? I mean, frustrating is an understatement when you leave it to the last minute. I mean, we've had a couple of mess ups with Morgan Gibbs-White that went downhill pretty fast in the end. Eze totally robbed by Arsenal there, but is anyone truly bothered about that one now? I think we have just got ourselves, if I'm going to be honest, price-wise, potential-wise, already proven he's got a fair bit of skill on him. When it comes to Simmons, I honestly just think we got the steal of the window, basically. 51 million. I mean, that's pretty much what you pay for an average player these days. 51 million is basically an average price. There is nothing expensive about that one either. I mean, we all know Spurs don't like making expensive deals, but I don't think anybody can fault that deal. 51 million. I was expecting to have to pay more like 65, 70 million, basically. And Chelsea obviously didn't come in. They weren't that interested. I wouldn't say they didn't have the money because they're still making bids out there now. And, well, it's a good job that Chelsea weren't interested. We got our man at the end of the day. I mean, one thing, as far as I know, I don't think he can play today. I haven't checked that up. I mean, I'm still half waking up myself, I'm going to be honest. Had me 2 cups of coffee and that's why I need my bloody energy drink as well. But I don't actually know if he can play today or not. So if someone in the chat can tell me otherwise. I mean, but I'm definitely interested in some of the players we're looking at as well today. I think the past few days, it's definitely gone good for us. I don't think people can say otherwise. I think we can just sit there and say we're happy with what we got. People are still going to be saying Levy out, Levy in, this and that, whatever. But Levy, you got the job done this time. Fair play to you. But in my choice, we still need a new chairman at the end of the day. So we shall see. So I'm going to say hello to a few people. Eugene, how you doing, fella? Hope you're all good. Everyone, big up. Levy out. Yeah, I don't think many are going to change on that one. Just over one transfer, but we do know we are, when it comes to things like that, Spurs fans get satisfied very quickly. And Tony, morning Dan and Guess and chat, morning to you too, mate. Hope you had a good night. And Spurs Bournemouth 3-0. Yeah, I could go with that one. My prediction for that game is 2-0. I think we should do that at home as well. No game's ever going to be easy, but I think you can definitely say we should be expected to win that one and make 3 wins out of 3 and also keep a clean sheet. I mean, the team we're going to pick for it, I think it's going to be interesting. Kickoffs at 3. And yeah, we shall see from there, basically. And 1C808Y2S or just Paul. I think I should have read Paul bit first. Morning, Yid Army. Morning to you too, fella. I mean, Drooler, morning. I hope you're good. Good morning, Dan and chat. Mike Pepper, morning all. Morning to you, fella. Tony DRC, morning, buddy. Morning to you, mate. Hope everything's good up your end. Andy, Liverpool supporter, big up, mate. Big up to you. Also, Bookie TV, morning, mate. Do you reckon a Cam is still a priority as savvy as often as he played on the left? I mean, that's a good question. I mean, when I actually go and have a look at where he has played over the past time and that, I think he has played the majority of the time on the left. and he also scores from there as well. I mean, that's 59 games on the left-hand side for him, 42 as attacking midfielder, 27 as right winger, 10 as centre forwards, and then other times he's actually played a DM role 6 times, if I'm reading that right. And in left wing, scored 18 with 17 assists, attacking midfield, 19 goals, 12 assists, so he can definitely score goals on the right, 7 goals, 6 assists, and even the centre forward, 5 goals, 6 assists. So you know what? I actually think that's a fair question, mate. What are we actually going to use him as? I would have thought we're going to use him in the 10 role personally, because he's got the playmaker side to him. He knows what he wants to do with the ball before he gets the ball. So I think we're going to use him as more of a 10. But it does give us the option that if we decide to go for another 10, then from there, we have options, because he can play on the left just as good as he can in the central, basically. And from there, we got options, whether we get another 10 or we get another 11. We can take it all from there, basically. Tony, good. Akanji would be a great signing. Yep, totally agree, mate. I think he's a good player. I think he's got experience, which is what we need. And I wouldn't say either no to him or Ake, basically. I know there's people who feel a bit different about it. It's your own. But in that aspect, I think, Akanji would be a very good option. And Drula, apparently, we've put in a 20 million bid for Akanji. Yep, so I've heard. Cool, Ben, that's a bit noisy in the background.
Is it really? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, a lot of banging, mate. Bookie TV, just hoping Lange's fully out the door and Paratici can put in a proper organised recruitment team in place. Yeah, I do as well. I mean, a lot of this does come down to scouting at the end of the day, and we definitely need a new scout system on there, without a doubt. And Sammy, big up to you. Spurs have bid 20 million for Akanji, apparently, that's what I've read as well. I do think that is a deal that can definitely happen. It gives us that extra stability at the back. It gives us that extra depth at the back that we actually need. I mean, because at the moment we've got Danzo at the back, a very good player in my opinion, or good player anyway, very stable, very consistent. Then we got Ben Davies. I mean, why is the man even still at the club? I think people would say he's given some stable performances, but we know he's past his sell-by date, to say the least. I mean, he's been at Spurs for what, 10 years now, 11 years.
And Danny, do you know what? Can I just say, I actually feel like you need players like Ben Davies in the club. I feel like a lot of clubs need that sort of that steady, loyal player that will give you a 6, a 7 most weeks out of most. I don't know. I feel like Ben Davies gets a little bit of stick. Do you not like him at all? No.
Hang on, I'll come to that in a minute, mate. I'm just saying hello to a few people, and then we'll come to that in a minute. I'll just write it down. And Tony, this could be the best signing we have made in my 45 years supporting the club. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far saying Simmons is the best signing we've made. No, not in that time. I mean, we've signed players like Klinsmann in that sort of time, Van der Vaart, and we've obviously signed some other very good players as well. But with the potential he's got and the price we've paid for him, definitely up there with the top. Now we just have to see how he performs in the Premier League, basically. That's what it comes down to in the crunch. Not saying the player can't come over and can't handle it, but some leagues are made for certain people and some leagues are made for other people. And on one side of it, that a few people do say, that I do agree with it, is there's not actually that many Dutch players that seem to come over to England and actually make it to the high level. Now, there's been a couple that have done it, but there's been a fair few that haven't been able to do it. I don't think we're going to have that problem with Simmons. I think he's going to need a little bit of time to settle down, and I personally think he's going to be a good success at Spurs. And he's going to give us what we need. He's going to give us goals. He's going to give us goals assists. And, yeah, give him a month or two to settle in. And, yeah, basically, I think we will be fine. And Bookie TV, he's waiting for his work permit, mate. Yeah, so he's not going to be playing today. Yeah, I didn't think he would be. I just wasn't sure. He should have that as soon as. And then Tottenham Scout, morning Dan, morning to you too, mate. Tony, Danny's live. Yes, I am, mate. And Finn, Eze is peaking as a player. Savvy is already a baller, but has so much more potential. Exciting times ahead. I'll agree with that. Eze definitely more experience, got experience in the Premier League. And I think Savvy's going to need that little bit of time to settle down. But for what he's capable of and for what his potential, for God's sake, Ben, if you can carry that on for me quick, I've just got to answer the door, mate.
Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think Eze probably is getting to his peak, isn't he? They say your absolute prime as a football player is between like 27 and 30. So we'll see what happens with Eze. But I'll say this much, right? If you compare the two, I think Eze has got double figures in GA twice in his entire career. And if you compare that side by side with someone like Xavi, if I'm not mistaken, he's played 4 senior seasons. I suppose you could disregard the 10 at PSG. I mean, it's not really much, is it? But aside from that, he's got double GA in every single season he's played. So I think that's rather impressive.
Oh, right. Sorry about that. Just had to answer a bloody door. I always get a bloody phone call, or I always get someone on the bloody door every time I go online. It happens. And guy said, big up to you, mate. Big up, Lashes and Lashy. Yeah, and Drew also saying, let's go and have a double swoop for Akanji and Savio. If not, let's get to Lookman. I mean, Lookman is another player that I think we could seriously get if we was willing to spend 40 million and pretty much put the money on the table for the deal they need, whatever, and that. I think we'd get it quite easily because that was the problem they had with Inter Milan. Inter Milan did just not have the money to go with the deal, basically. And in Italy, like I've said to people at the moment, money for a lot of teams there is not the thing they seem to have. And Chris saying, Sava Raid, thanks a lot to everyone who's come over from Sava's run. And thanks a lot to Sava for sending everyone over as well. And or Paul, yeah, mostly left. He does play on the left most of the time. I'm dreaming, or is this Spurs? And Lee, how we doing? Morning, Dan. Morning, mate. If you want to jump on, Lee, send me a message and I'll put you on here, mate. It's not a problem. So, Ben, when it comes down to it, what is your opinions on Simmons one? I'm not going to go deep into this one because I think everyone has said as much as they need to say on that. But are you totally happy with that deal we got and the 51 million we just spent on the fella?
Yeah, absolutely. I really am. I think he's a very decent player. And like I've said in the past, I like his journey. I like the fact that he turned up at PSG, was surplus. Good morning. He was surplus to requirements, and he moved on to PSV. And again, like I said yesterday, not reinvent himself, but plied his trade. Sort of built himself up. I think that first season at PSV, he got 23 goals and 8 assists. Now you got to understand, at the time he was what, 19, 20, maybe. And then from there, he's gone to the Bundesliga, and then back to back double figures in GA. I mean, he's a phenomenal player, although I don't know if you spotted this last night. It interested the hell out of me. There was a show on Sky Sports, and it was with Tim Sherwood, our ex-manager. Good man. He said he's not convinced by Xavi. He said he feels like he's not that statement signing, and he also feels like he's very inconsistent. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, the German fellow who said it.
No, this was Tim Sherwood who said it, our ex-manager.
I don't think Tim Sherwood knew he was even talking about it, if I'm going to be honest. I honestly don't think he knew who he was talking about, if I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm more interested in what the German fella said about him, as in the aspect of he's been a bit shaky lately, especially in the last game that they got smashed, basically. But again, that's one, I'll put all that aside and let's see how he does at Spurs. And again, Rob, how we doing, mate? Hope everything's good. We are. For 51 million, mate, you can't go wrong with that.
Not for the level of talent you're getting in return, mate. Surely not. Yeah, for me, mate, that is a bargain price. And again, I don't want to do this. And I know I don't want to do this, but you've got to give Daniel Levy a bit of praise for that. Good Lord.
Yes, you do. in that aspect, you do have to give him a bit of praise for it. I think everyone knows I don't want him at this club. And but when he gets something right, you got to give him that credit of you got something right at the end of the day. And I feel that's where a lot of people go wrong, because if you just see it as a bloody hate, and everything that's bad is on one person and whatever, but everything good, you can't look at them for that either. I don't think it helps nothing to the system, but I don't want to turn this into a fucking Levy thing, yeah, because that just do my nutting. Right, you said about Ben Davies, yeah?
Yeah.
You said about Ben Davies. You do what? So you'd rather keep him there instead of Akanji? Or
look,
I'm
probably thinking with my heart rather than my head. I just feel he's been a servant. Way. Yeah, I know. I'm a football fan, mate. Shoot me. Look, he's been with us for 11 years. In 6, 7 out of 10, Ben. I've got a bit of a soft spot for him. Look, he's a good guy. He never complains. He never causes any trouble. He's a model professional. I just think it's good to have people like that around the club. I don't know. What do you think? I know what you're going to say. I don't know why I'm bothering asking, but go on.
I mean, mate, for me, he should have been gone. I mean, he has been stable when he's played for us, yeah? A majority of the time. There's no two ways about it, yeah? But, I mean, come on, it's time to progress now. It's time to go on with it sort of thing. And I don't think hanging on to players like that does us any favours. I mean, if we're not going to get a defender, then basically we need to keep him there. It's like I'm saying about Basuma. I want him to go personally. I don't want him here anymore, yeah? But if we are not going to sign another midfielder, then I would rather bring Basuma onto the pitch than I keep mentioning the name I don't want to than bloody Archie Gray. Because Basuma is more ready, as he's a better player. Simple as that. More experienced, everything else. So in that option, I think if we're going to get rid of Basuma, we need another centre mid to cover that place. I don't want to go into a game where we're playing Dortmund or whoever else and then have to put on Archie Gray. I would rather put on Basuma. Even though he's got a bit of a bad attitude off the pitch from what I've heard and that, and we've all seen what he's done. We've all seen he can play, but a lot of times he doesn't seem to just get the hang of it. For me, it's because he's not a defensive player. And it's things like that, basically. You need that depth in that team, don't you?
Do you know what? It's a really difficult one with Basuma because at the same time, we know what he's capable of or what could he be capable of. You know, played in the right position, but you don't really want someone like that around the team if they're not going to set a good example. I feel like it's paramount, and you've got to remember this guy was given a leadership role, which is huge. You can't be doing that sort of stuff. But I do agree. I think if we're not going to get someone else in, you can't have that level of drop off from. I mean, I think there's a huge drop off from Basuma to Gray, and I think that maybe says
exactly.
Something.
Exactly. That's exactly my point as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with this window so far, it's like we've got a question of Stuart, basically. Well, question statement. Lads, we end up with Akanji and Lookman out of the transfer window. What rating would you give it? A 10 out of 10? I must admit, I mean, for me, we end up with them two. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. The only reason I will not give it a 10 out of 10 is because we've left things to the last bloody minute again. That is the only reason I would not give it a 10 out of 10 if we got them two.
I think if you look at this logically, what have we done? We've done Kudus, we've done Paulinho, we've done Xavi. And if Lookman and Akanji came in on top of that, I'm not going to count that. Kota Takai, bless his heart, he's a kid, not interested. Yeah, I think you know, if you think about those forementioned players, I'll probably have to hit the same heights. I would go with a 9 as well. Because realistically, you can't ask for any more than 3 to 4 players that walk into your first team. So, yeah, I feel like you haven't got much of a choice but to give it a 9, to be fair.
I mean, the other thing that I think with this one, yeah, I mean, I've been one who stated for a while, yeah, that even if we even go out and get 2 players, yeah, that walk into that first team, I can be quite happy with the window, basically, yeah. For the reason being that we just seem to always get quantity over bloody quality. So it got me down to that point where I can sort of basically say that as long as we get 2 quality players in there who walk into that first team, I'll be more happy with that than just buying 5 quantity players who don't really even get into that first team. But we've gone and got 3 players that walk into that first team, 1 good backup for the first team, if you want to put it as a backup. And in the other aspects, I mean, Matthias Tell, I just don't even go there. Why we wasted the money on him, I just don't know, yeah? But we've actually gone and got 3 players that walk into that first team.
Yeah, and like I said a minute ago, I don't really feel like you could ask for much more. It would be nice to see, if Akanji and Lookman do come in, you've got to consider us a top 4, in for the top 4 hunt this season. Yes, no, or is that too much? Am I
That's
getting a little bit above? Right.
For me personally, no. I mean, you have your opinion as well. For me, that's still that I still don't think, even if we got them 2, it brings us closer. But I still don't think that brings us to a top 4. But I think that we should be fighting tooth and nail for 5th place then, which is a Champions League place at the end of the day.
You know what's funny? I think with Xavi, I already feel like we should now be possibly pushing for that top 5. That's why I say, in my opinion, I feel like if you do bring in a Lookman, if you do bring in a Akanji, I do feel like you've kind of got to be hitting the heights of 4th, ideally, because listen, we've already got a reasonably solid squad. You add those 4 or 5 top quality players to the squad, I feel like you have to be aiming for top 4.
It's the lack of depth, I think, overall that we've got. And it is a lack of depth we do have at the team. I mean, just think, we get 1 or 2 injuries there, we're in trouble. Our backup, until we've got other players come back, like Kulusevski. I don't think Maddison will make it back, if I'm going to be honest. And it is the lack of depth we've got. So if we go and get these 2 extra players, I mean, the other one that we're meant to be very interested in, along with West Ham, Villa and Man United, is Conor Gallagher. And from what I read up, Madrid are actually willing to sell.
Again?
45 million. This is just what I'm reading. It's only by what I've read. I don't know what's bloody going on behind the books, but I can only go with what I've read. And Conor Gallagher is another one I would not say no to. And then we could get rid of Basuma.
Yeah, that Conor Gallagher thing bores me just a little bit. We had so much of it, didn't we? Look, realistically, if you look at it from a standpoint of who's better, Conor Gallagher is night and day above Basuma, Gray, currently Bergvall. Yeah, I think it'd be silly. Yeah, oi, hold on. You watch your dirty mouth. All right, you leave my Yaya Toure alone.
He's better than Sarr. Just be realistic, for God's sake. And if anything, he's, depending what you want him to do, as a box-to-box midfielder, I'd even say Conor Gallagher's better than Bentancur. He's got a better engine than Bentancur. I mean, he's got an engine like Sarr, basically. He's just better than Sarr overall as a player, yeah? Sarr's got a lot of developing to do. He's looked good past couple of games, but he's going to have more consistency before I start saying he's a good player. And Conor Gallagher is a bloody good player.
I've got a question for you, though.
He would work with Paulinho very, very well.
I've got a question for you, though. Seeing as we've brought in a number 10, well, I actually think Xavi's been brought in to play the left wing. But seeing as we've brought in a 10.
He's played on the left more, hasn't he? He's actually played on the left more.
He has. But I think in this instance, I'd be very surprised if he didn't play as the cam. My question is this. Seeing as we've brought in the number 10, I don't know why I did air quotes there. Seeing as we brought in the 10, I feel like that's obviously going to release Sarr back down to CDM, yeah, which is his natural position. Now, here is my question.
I mean, he's box to box. He ain't no DM.
Well, I think in this setup, what we usually do, I would see him as a CDM for the way Frank plays. But again, it's opinion. But given that fact, I think if you bring in someone like a Gallagher, would that not maybe block Sarr's development? Because this is the thing. He's played nearly every game so far, including friendlies, and he has been, let's be honest, every performance has been an 8. Every performance has been an 8. Do you really want to slow that momentum down? Go for it.
I'll give you an honest answer. I couldn't care less. If the player we buy now is better than the player we got, that's all I care about. I care about winning now, not in 5 years' time. I care about a player being good now, not 5 years' time. I get where you come from, but Sarr will still see games. I mean, he's definitely not a CDM. He's tackling. He's pretty poor. To be a defensive midfielder, you need to be able to tackle. That's why Paulinho is a defensive midfielder or a box-to-box drop defensive.
But he's very good at intercepting and pressure.
But he's terrible at tackling. And as a DM, you need to be able to tackle. He is not a DM in any means or manner, and he hasn't got the physicality for it either. He's got an engine as a box-to-box player like Conor Gallagher has, basically. Mm. It's just Conor Gallagher is a bigger fella, gets more involved and whatever else, can pass the ball a bit better. But I think Sarr has been brilliant, don't get me wrong. Mm. But if we was to, say, bring in Conor Gallagher and Sarr loses his place to him or whatever, and why should I care? Honestly.
Yeah, no, that's...
If we're bringing in a better player for the first 11, that is all I care about. That is what we all ask for, innit? What is the point of a transfer? To bring on a transfer so he can sit behind and not hold the other player back? Here, I think, Ben, you're going into that youth thing again of, yeah, but we need our youth to develop and everything. I totally get that. But at the end of the day, I can't say I care. As long as we buy that player now who is good enough for the first 11, if it knocks one of the younger players out the first 11, I couldn't care less. I want the best players for the first team.
That's a difficult one for me because of the way Sarr's performed in the last sort of 4 or 5 games. It's really...
He's been good.
I don't think you can bring someone like that out of the team. Not whilst he's on this sort of level of performance. I really don't. And I've got huge hopes for Sarr this season.
I think a few people have, because he has looked very good so far. But remember, it has only been 2 games.
No, of course it is. And you make a really good point. And you are right. Look, it could, for all we know, it could be manager bounce with Sarr. Who knows? I mean, personally, I think he's gone up a level. But yeah, I suppose it's hard to argue with your point, mate, as much as I hate to say it, because we don't have a good argument. But it's very difficult. If you can bring in someone that you know right now is better, then it's very hard to not want to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's another thing that a lot of Spurs people are guilty of. I mean, I've been guilty of contradicting myself at times with players. I think we've all bloody done it, so you can just put your hands up to it and admit we all fucked up once or twice and just fought with our heart and not our head. But when it comes down to the crunch, you want Spurs to win, right?
Yeah,
so
100%.
you want the best. So you want the best players that you get on the pitch. I don't want us buying players in general for backup players. I know Mr. Box Office can't stand that word, and he was the one who got me not liking using it either. And Alex, if you're out there watching, just send me a link, mate, and I'll bring you on. That's not a problem.
What's wrong with backup players?
No, it's the phrase.
No, the term. What's wrong with the term backup players?
I used to use it all the time, yeah. And he was the one, and Alex was the one who did not like it and always used to go into one about it. And I just used to think, like, Alex, like, seriously, mate, like, backup players are needed. But then when he explained it, I actually listened to him. He actually has a very good point, in my opinion.
Enlighten me, please.
Buying players purely for backup. I want to buy players that, okay, they're not going to walk into that first team, but they've got more than enough capability to take a place in that first team.
You want them to fight, basically.
Davis is a backup player. There you go. Yeah. We go and get Akanji. I don't think he's an out-and-out backup player as such. Okay, I don't think he's quite on the level of Romero or Van der Ven, but he's one that, say, either of them two starts having a poor game, you can bring him on straight away, and it isn't like pushing someone off a cliff, basically, to drop in the next player you're going to get. Same as with Danzo, yeah? So a backup player, the way Alex puts it, and I agree with him on this, is when you go and get a Ben Davis.
Do you know what? I've never thought of it like that. I've never thought of it like that. No, that's actually...
Until Alex explained it, yeah? And when he explained it to me, I think Mr. Box Office got that right. We don't want to buy players purely for backup, basically, yeah? Because on that one, it's... Yeah.
I've never actually looked at it like that. That's quite impressive. No, and it's really basic, probably.
Sometimes, yeah, okay, I get it. You do buy a player purely for backup. Sometimes you do that. I get that, yeah. but I don't want us to be buying players for that. Every player we buy, I want them to have that capability of getting into that first team. Not just having to sit there and come on when there's nobody else there. And I think Akanji has got that capability. And even if he's not necessarily looked on as a first 11 player, I don't think he's a backup player either. You know, but Romero, let's just say Van der Ven has a couple of bad games, like 2 bad games. Thomas Frank can say, right, you're sitting over there. Akanji, you're coming in there, or Danzo, whatever. And like I said, it's not a massive drop-off as such in that aspect.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. And again, it's similar to someone like Danso, isn't it? Who I know both yourself and me have quite a big soft spot for Danso. And I think what a pleasure it is to have someone like that, you know, in the team, in reserves, should anything happen to, you know, Romero or Van der Ven. And I think Akanji adds to that, really, doesn't he? You're not going to feel such a harsh drop off, are you, really? So, yeah, for me, I'm all for Akanji. At the end of the day, it's not just his experience he brings in. He's won it all with City. So, I mean, you're bringing in that winning mentality. And that's something, you know, we're a bit short of. Yeah.
That's another point. I mean, the amount he has won with City and that, and he has played pretty consistently at times with City and that. And again, it's another one who I feel, it's another one who I feel would be, especially for 15 million. I think
no. Apparently, so from what I mean, again, who knows if this is true, but so from what I've heard is it was 15 million across seas. With a Premier League team, they wanted at least 20, which I still think is an absolutely unbelievable deal. Would you still be happy at 20?
I'm not going to say no, because he's got more than enough capability to get into that first team, or when I think it's also going to match why we need that defender so much. In the aspect of there are going to times we're going to be playing 3 at the back, which is the way I prefer playing anyway. But Thomas Frank, I think we can see so far prefers a 3-3-3 or a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. And when he has to play 3 at the back, he also needs that stability at the back in the access of being able to put Danzo in the middle. And we all know Dragusin's still out for a while, and Akanji would be a perfect man to put in the middle. And Lucy, thanks a lot for the super chat. Much appreciated. Just asking Justin Kluivert, guys, what do you think?
He's a good little player. He's a good little player.
Not for me. I think he's all right. I think a few people look on him with his dad's name on him, basically. I think he's an all right player, but I think we can do better. I'm not going to complain if we did get him, but I think we can do better than Justin Kluivert.
I'm a bit of a fan of him. Look, listen, I think, and again, this is more heart than head. I think when you're a player that's got a dad like his, why can I not think of his first name?
Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick Kluivert. You know, when you're in a shadow of someone like that, I think that can be. I think he's got to show quite a strong mentality to be able to get somewhere in his career. And to be fair, I know he's only at Bournemouth, but still, I mean, I feel like he's done pretty well. I like him. I think he shows a bit of character. No, I'm going to go look at his GA for the season. I mean, I watched him. He's a decent little player. I think if you could maybe bring someone like that in for 40-odd million, I think you'd get a steal, mate.
What position does he actually play? Does he play on the left or the right? I know he plays on the wing.
I thought it was right.
Okay.
I thought it was right. I could be wrong.
I mean, that's going to be the question on what we're using Simmons for, number 10 or a left, isn't it? Left I think he's more for the 10 personally. But
I think he's more for the left. He will play 10 until Madison or Kula comes back. But as soon as he does, he's going straight out on that left. That I almost guarantee.
But he's got a lot more creativity than Kulusevski.
Can I just throw out some GA for you quickly?
Go on.
Justin Kluivert, to be fair to the boy, 34 games in the Prem, 12 goals, 6 assists. That's not sad, is it really?
But it's not exactly brilliant either. I'm not saying he's a bad player, and I'm not saying for me, he's just, I think we can do better. I mean, personally, what I would rather do here and now is go out and get Lookman, and I think that's a much better option. go and get Lookman to play out on the left, and then we can use Simmons in the middle, and then we can counter, rotate, and do what we want. Gives us the extra depth again because Lookman can cover a couple of positions.
No, it's
same as Simmons. So
it's
instead
true.
of going for someone like Kluivert, who I don't think he's a bad player, but I don't think he's particularly a good player either, if you know what I mean. I mean, I have my levels. I've got my world-class, quality, very good, all right, and then you start getting well. I think he's an all right player. Me personally, I just don't think he's anything special in any means or manner.
No, that's fair.
Maybe as a moment or two. And so if we're in the Champions League, which we are, and we're playing big clubs, which we're going to be in that, I'd rather have a Lookman than Kluivert.
No, that's fair. I mean, the only thing I will say on Lookman, and this is a concern that I keep seeing a lot of from Spurs fans, and I don't blame them. So look, Lookman has already been in the Premier League. He didn't exactly set the world on fire. But he has gone away to Serie A and he's smashed it out of the park. However, the concerns are, from what I read, are that could Lookman come back to the Prem and still perform to those levels? Have you got any thoughts on that?
Well, what you got to look at is why he was here. He was significantly younger, yeah, and where he's gone out to Atalanta, he has played extremely well.
Yes,
and he's won things with them. He scored goals with them, and I think he would settle in pretty quickly and do a good job, basically.
Do you have any concerns of his age?
No, why would I?
He's going to be 28, and I just feel like some pace players. I'm not suggesting, anything about his quality, but he does base a lot of his game on pace, from what I've seen of him.
And he's 27.
He's 28. He's coming up to 28.
Okay, 28.
That doesn't concern you, no? It's just a question
that
mark.
age.
Yeah.
If it's a player relying on pace, it'd more bother me when he gets to 30.
Yeah, fair play. Fair play.
I think Lookman, if it's at 40 million, even 50 million, for me, I think it's personally a no-brainer. I think we should already be out there looking for him. I think he should already be doing it. I mean, last season, 31 goals in Serie A with Lookman. 31 games, 15 goals, 5 assists. Champions League, 7 games, 5 goals, 2 assists. And then in the Cups, he didn't score no goals in there. But
yeah, I think this here proves the point, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, he basically played as sort of attacking midfield. He's not a playmaker. He's more of a second striker, in my opinion. The one that, like a bit of a Kulusevski, basically. But he can also cover the left as well. But he only played, I'm just looking at it now, he only played two games on the left. Centre forward, 7 games, and then basically played as an attacking midfield central, shadow striker, second striker, or just an attacking midfielder, where he played 29 games, scored 15 and 5 assists and that. So for me, if he's going to be about 40 million, I just think he's a bit of a no-brainer, basically. If we go and get him, and then you could say, I think it depends what we want to do with the middle. I think this is where we need to work out what Frank wants to do. Does he want an out-and-out playmaker for the middle, or does he want an attacking midfielder in the middle?
I mean, there's still lots of rumours circulating around that Frank wants Paqueta. So, I mean, that would absolutely guarantee that he has bought Xavi for the left. I don't know. That's a difficult one. I mean, if we went for Paqueta, I mean, the figures that are being thrown around are 60 million. That is a lot of dough. And again, he's just turned 28 too, so he's in his prime. A
player I wouldn't say no to.
No. He wouldn't be my first choice, but you can't really say no to a bit of quality, can you?
No, he wouldn't be exactly the first choice, and 60 million for him is a little bit steep, I think. But again, it's not my money at the end of the day, so why should I give a shit? And he's another one who I wouldn't say no to, but I must admit, I don't think West Ham would be too happy on selling him to us. I mean, their fans would absolutely lose the plot. I think you'd see riots up there.
Do you know what? I can see your point about the fans, but I don't think there would be an issue with West Ham selling selling Paqueta to us. I really don't. I think from what I've gathered, I thought at the time anyway, like a week ago, that West Ham are quite happy to let him go. I know he's a little bit moody at the minute. From what I understand, he wants to go himself. He'd like to move on to a bigger club. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be an issue with buying him. I feel like if the money's right, if the price is right, bitch, we take him. I don't think
I'd rather take Lookman. I'd rather take Lookman, personally.
What, as that number 10? Because the thing is, they're very different players. Like for me, with Paqueta, what you're getting is a relatively good creative number 10 who's got some skills on him, but he's also good at pressure and also good at throwing in some tackles. I mean, you could even, when Maddison and Kula get back, you could drop him back into Bentancur's role quite comfortably. So you're getting a bit of versatility, and I know Frank likes versatility, but again, I know you get that with Lookman. I don't know. It's a weird one.
They're two different types of players, aren't they? I mean, if you're going to put Paqueta to anyone, if I'm going to relate him to a Spurs player, he's a bit like a Kulusevski, basically.
Yeah.
Except I think he's a bit quicker on the head. Because I think that's one thing that does hold Kulusevski back if you want him to be a playmaker. I don't think he's the quickest player in the head, as in the idea of he knows what he wants to do with a ball by the time he gets the ball. And that's what you need a playmaker to do. That's if we're even going to go with a playmaker. Why have we bought Simmons? Is he going to be our number 10 playmaker, or are we going to be able to put him out on the left and buy a number 10 or whatever? This is where it's going to be interesting to find out. At the moment, I think he's going to be on the 10 role as the playmaker, because we don't have that many options. And one thing he has, similar to Maddison, I wouldn't quite say to the same caliber as Maddison, but is the aspect of he already knows what he wants to do with a ball before he's got the ball, like Eriksen used to. By the time the ball's coming over to him, he's already looked and knows who he wants to pass it to. Where someone like Kulusevski or Paqueta, they get the ball, then they're looking who they pass it to. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I do.
And that's the difference between a playmaker and an attacking midfielder as such.
I mean, going back to Kulusevski ever so quickly. So for me, that man screams out shadow striker. He's that guy you're going to feed the ball into, and he'll drive for you.
That is what he does.
That is
that for a year and a half, Ben.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's really not. I mean, don't get me wrong though. He has done a decent job at right wing over the last few seasons. He's not been terrible.
But he's not been great.
No, his ability to play make definitely isn't to the levels where you want it to be for a number 10.
The problem is with him on the right, Ben, is he's so left-sided that it's predictable. It's like he hasn't almost got a right foot, and that makes it very easy for the defender to know what he's going to do. That's why he's got to play in the middle. When he played on the right for Juventus, he was all right, but they just couldn't get out of him what they wanted. Then they went and bought Chiesa, and Kulusevski was out for a little while, and then they stuck him in the middle behind Maddison, behind Ronaldo as the shadow striker, and him and Ronaldo clicked very well, and Ronaldo praised him very highly, and also for Sweden, he basically does the same thing.
Yeah, but I think Kulu is, okay, right, so I'm talking about the Kulu that you get every first 6 months of Tottenham Hotspur's season, not the following 6 months where he drops off considerably. When Kulu is at top form, I think he's got such a great ability to beat a man. He's a really confusing player to watch, because you think, he's not particularly skillful. He's not particularly fast. I mean, good Lord, when I say not particularly fast, I mean that. But he does have a strange ability to beat a man, and he does it regularly. So you say that about him, but I think Gareth Bale, I know they're not even close in class. I get that. But Gareth Bale had the same issue being left-footed. But, I feel like
that's a whole different kettle of fish. You're talking about a world-class player.
That's why I did just specify that before I continued. But my point is, regardless of him being so left-footed, Kulu does consistently beat his man to get in a cross or a shot. So he has that capability of doing so. No, I'm not comparing him to Gareth Bale. I'm just saying they have a similar trait. Kulu's a strange one. But either way, I feel like playing him at number 10, you can only go down that shadow striker lane. I don't think you could. I don't think he's that great at playmaking. Whereas Maddison
is a playmaker through and through.
Through and through. I mean, that guy, Sony Ericsson sat nav sort of passes, fantastic. But did you say you feel like Lookman has a similar sort of playmaking ability?
I think he's got a bit. I think he's got a bit more playmaker to him than Kulusevski, but I think he's more the second striker sort of thing, the shadow striker, basically.
Yeah.
Again, it depends how Frank is going to want to play, basically, for what he's going to want to use his 10 as. And I think it's going to take us about 10 games, whatever, to actually really see what he wants to play. But we also know he's going to adapt in games and play 3 at the back, 5 at the back, whatever you want to call it, 4-2-3-1s, 4-3-3, whatever, because he's already shown that he's willing to adapt and change what he can do, basically.
Just on that subject quickly, I'd like to just twist this if we can. By any chance, did you happen to see Frank's press conference yesterday?
Yes.
Honestly, that man, good Lord, he has. It's funny, when I first watched his interview for Tottenham, I thought, bit robotic. The answers that he was giving seemed very controlled, shall we say. Ever since that press conference, I must say, when you listen to Frank speak, he's just football. He's thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. He was like describing how he wants his number 10 to play. The guy is just, he's a bit of a footballing genius, and I'm really starting to fall in love with that guy. I know Brian here absolutely loves him. Yeah, just what did you make of that press conference?
What, the press conference yesterday? First of all, good morning, everyone. Good morning,
Brian.
Mate, I didn't see a lot yesterday. After the 7.5 hour stream that I did the night before, I pretty much slept all day. Much slept all day, and now I'm just up. I'm happy. It's Frank Day. It's Spurs Day. It's all good. It's all good today. It's all good, and I'm looking to catch up with everything I need to.
Good man.
So right. Since I haven't asked you, I haven't actually even heard your opinion on this one yet. Simmons, what do you think of the deal?
Outstanding. Goddamn standing. Brilliant from top to bottom from the club, in all fairness. The speed that deal got done, that's a quality signing. That's a show of intent. That's a game changer. And I'm delighted he's at this football club. Absolutely delighted he's at this football club.
51 million, Bri. 51 million.
It's a steal. Mate, he's cheaper than all of Manchester United's front line. He's cheaper than Eze. He's cheaper than what Gibbs White would have been. How we got it at that deal, whether it was Levy in his negotiations or whatever they've done, whatever has happened to get this deal done at that price is outstanding. Everyone at this club needs to be applauded for pulling that off. They really do. For that one moment, 100%, they've done incredibly well. And we've got an incredible player. Incredible. There's nothing more you can say, is there, Dan? There's nothing more you can say.
Where do you think he's been bought to play, though? As a number 10 or on the left? I mean, at the moment, I think it's obvious that it's a number 10.
Yeah.
But do you reckon we're going to look for a number 10 to then put him on the left? Or do you going to think we're going to look for a left to keep him as the number 10?
I think that's what's
going both.
Exactly. That's what I think we're going to look at. Dan, I think it means, for me, it's who we can get in. If we can get a Savinho in, if we could, let's just say Leao comes available or whatever, or someone of that stature, then he'll be a 10, won't he? But if it's going to be a Paqueta, let's just say, or someone like that, he'll be going on the left to begin with. But brilliant to have the option of both, isn't it?
That's what you want.
Exactly. To have the option of both. And now when Spurs go looking for the player until deadline day, because let's face it, we don't have a lot of time. It's a case of who we can get in. We haven't got time to mess around. But I think it's just shown with the with the fuck me, Simmons deal, that Spurs can get a big deal done quickly. So if any do start now, that will get done quickly, hopefully.
Can I ask you one question? I'm really interested to know your answer. Has this covered up your Morgan Gibbs White hurt?
No. Don't get me wrong. This is a phenomenal signing. This is the two I'm separating. I love Morgan Gibbs White. Was obviously people knew how happy I was getting and how delighted that still hurts. But this, you bring quality in like this. They're two different types of players. This certainly, if we hadn't have got him, or we hadn't brought in a player of this quality, it would have been very. Let's just say the healing has started. The healing has started. I'm not disappointed with the club. I am disappointed for whatever the reason the deal didn't go through. But Morgan Gibbs White was my dream player at the club, Premier League wise. But if someone had said to me Simmons, I didn't even think Simmons was an option. But I just adore Morgan Gibbs White. But I am absolutely delighted with this. Like delighted.
So do you think, seeing as we've done this deal so quickly, do you think we are going to bring in another player? Do you have your suspicions? Do you have your doubts? What are you thinking?
I think there will be players coming in. I think what this should do for Spurs fans right now, no matter where you stand on manager, ownership, whatever it be, that Spurs can get deals done. And they can, let's face it, let's see, we've had to deal with Nkuku and G and all other deals that have taken their time to get over the line, like 2 weeks for they've got. This is a big player. This is a huge player with, yes, you had Chelsea interest. Yes, we had Chelsea interest. Whether they went, obviously they didn't come through, but it's just shown Spurs, if they enter negotiations, they can get it done quick now. And you've got to remember, I think a lot of stuff might happen tonight after the game because Monday they're all travelling to their international. It's international duty. So are they going to wait like we did with Sissoko? Sissoko was in France. Then he had to rush back and get it done. Are people going to try and get stuff done before these players leave for international duty? So I think there could be a lot of tonight.
Don't, Brian. I mean, the players ain't got to be there.
That's depends what they need for medical. I know they can do their medicals elsewhere, but you just never know. Do you? You just never know. But I think there could be a lot of activity, literally from this evening onwards.
I think it's going to show. I mean, I don't like the idea of it being left to the last minute, but like I've said to you, Brian, and others, I've got the attitude of as long as we get the fucking player these days, just get it done, sort of thing. Yeah,
right.
And we know how Spurs work, but I also do get, especially at the end of this window, where you got the World Cup coming up. There's going to be players who are realising now that they aren't necessarily first choice for that first team, but want to fight in a first team basically to get their World Cup place.
Yep.
So I think there's going to be a few loans out there for the taking, or even a few players out there for the taking, and they're definitely going to be more likely to willing to come over to fight for that first team, or even get in for that first team because they got more chance than the other team. Like Akanji being one of them, and maybe even Ake. Mm-hmm. I mean, what do you think on the? I just want to do something quick for everyone. Yeah. Now I know you're not meant to do this on here, but I'll take my bollocking for it if it happens. One thing that really does piss me off over in England is the lack of football we get. Well, I say the lack of football we get. We don't get the choice on what we want to bloody watch.
Mm-hmm.
We have to deal with what Sky or TNT gives us. I don't like it. Yeah, and the bloody price of it. Oh. I mean, if you want to have both, you can be talking up to £65 a month if you can't find a deal. So what I'm going to explain to people quickly, and hopefully I don't get in trouble for this. Right, you want football and you want to watch pretty much any game you want, or at least 8 out of 10 Spurs games. Right, the way to do it is you go on your computer and you make sure you've got a VPN. You put your VPN in America. Go to Peacock, USA, and do the rest there.
Or,
as long as you're...
or move to Canada, where we get every single game.
Yeah, basically.
Or you move to Canada. But from here, you get your VPN, use it in America. Yeah. And then with that, you can then sign into Peacock USA and become a member, and it all comes from there. When it comes to payment, English stuff don't get accepted. But I'm sure most people have got PayPal these days, if you see where I'm coming from. So what I'm going to do quickly is just put a link on the screen for everybody. Copy and paste. This will show you everything what to do. Peacock costs £2.90 a month.
Is that all it is?
Well, when it's at its most expensive, it's at $7. Yeah. So it works out at about £2.90 a month I pay for it. And that is how people get to watch every 8 out of 10 Premier League games that are there, basically. So if anyone wants to do it, go onto that link I've just put on there. It will tell you everything about it. But you must have a VPN. Otherwise, it ain't going to happen. Now, hopefully, I don't get a bollocking in trouble for this, but I just don't like the way that people do not get to watch games and everything and how fucking expensive it is over here.
Mate,
So
it makes me laugh when I'm over here and we literally get every single game. Every single game.
Well, even the ones that aren't broadcast.
Mate, we've got so when I first came over, it was on our equivalent of Sky Sports and TNT now. It was on TSN or Sportsnet. But now it was on DAZN. Now it's on a thing called Fubo. I think it's $120 for the whole year. So let's say 60, 70 quid. Every single, and I do mean all the 3 o'clock, like every single game, not just Spurs, every single Premier League game for, I think it's about $120 a month, a year. Or you pay monthly, but it works out a little bit more expensive monthly, but every single game.
I mean, the other things people can use is use a Fire Stick, but the problem with a Fire Stick is it can just be too laggy at times. That's the problem with it. The other thing you can do if you get it up on your computer, or you can even get it up on your phone if you use a VPN as well, and then you can just transfer it straight over to the TV. It's just the way we have to pay for things over here, or supposedly meant to pay for things, is pretty much taking the piss. And then you can only watch what's given to you anyway. And so if people go by what I just said near and have a link that I just put on here, you will get the hang on how to do it. It's just, remember, you use PayPal. So, Brian, what I was asking you anyway.
Yes, sir.
Akanji, 15, 20 million sort of thing.
Yep.
And we're meant to be looking at Ake as well, sort of thing, like one or the other, but it looks like Akanji is going to be the more likely one to get. How do you feel on that one?
Do you know what? I was talking with this yesterday with Ben from We Are Tottenham TV. The way we're looking at this is, I love Ake. I think he's a very, very, very good player. I think a lot of this, personally, what we were thinking, I think this revolves around Jed Spence. Do we see Jed Spence? I mean, I did this on my show last night, and I said, where do you see Jed Spence as his main position, left back or right back? And one person out of like 200 said left back. Ake, to me, is a left back, left centre back option. Akanji is a right back, right centre back option. So if Thomas Frank is seeing, like we're seeing, that Jed Spence on the left is where he needs to stay, then I think Spurs go for Akanji. But if they see him going back to right back, then I see it being Ake. But you've already got Destiny coming back. So I like both the players. And at 15 million, mate, especially when we might be spending big on a number 10. A left winger or 10, and maybe whoever else is coming in. If I had my choice, if it was to keep Jed Spence at left back, I will go Akanji. But I think Ake is I really do think Ake is a good player. But either of them, you got to remember as well, Thomas Frank, if we bring these players in, apart from Simmons, who, let's face it, is very young but got the experience, we're bringing men in. We're not bringing youth in anymore. We are bringing men in. And also, you bring in a Akanji or an Ake, they've won the lot. They've won absolutely everything. We can now say that our guys have won the Europa League. They've got a medal in the bag. They've got a trophy over the line. These players come in with the experience of winning everything, like literally everything. So we do need a couple of players like this, like a Paulinho, the experienced heads to come in and show, right, this is how you see a game out. I know what to do in this drill. I've played in the big games. So I would take either. But if it's, like I said, I think it mainly is the way, this is just, like I said, this is the way me and Ben were looking at it. It's Jed Spence is being used on the left. Is it going to continue? Or is he going to move to the right once Destiny's back and we bring it back up for Destiny?
No, he's going to stay on the left.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's where he actually plays better. I think.
Yeah, I think he's much better on the left.
Both. I think he's actually significantly better on left.
I think he's incredible on the left. Right. First of all, congratulations on his England call up.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I have a two-part question very quickly.
Let Brian finish.
Yeah. So no, this is the thing. I think it just hinges on that. But let's just say what we thought was going to be a bad summer. Look how it's turning out. We thought Romero was leaving. He signed a contract and capped him.
That one was only down to no one went in for him, as far as I'm concerned, Brian. If Atletico would have offered the money for him, mate, see you later. He'd have been on.
I don't actually think that. I think honestly, with Thomas Frank, what everyone's saying about it, I think it's a lot more than big up Maz. Hello, brother. I think it's a lot more than. But then you just look at the players we've brought in now. Like I said, if we bring in a Akanji or Ake, I will be happy. I will be happy. I will be happy. But I think from what I was saying just before, if we want to keep Spence at left back, I think it will be more Akanji than. I could be completely wrong, but I think Akanji would make more sense.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that two-part question ever so quick because it does go into what you're saying, Brian. Now, for me, I suppose the first question is, do you think Akanji would be brought in, or Ake would be brought in to play second fiddle to Van der Ven? Now, again, I suppose the first question would be, do you think that would be the case? And the second question is, do you think either one would be happy to come in and play second fiddle? Because that's essentially what they're doing at Manchester City. Do you think they'd be all right doing that at Tottenham Hotspurs?
I think what we've got to do here is we've got to stop saying playing second fiddle. We're playing 4 cup competitions.
Okay. We've
had so many goddamn injuries last season. So many. For whatever reason it may be, the most important thing is being able. I heard you talking before I came on about Sarr and Simmons. Sarr can't play 60 games.
No.
Sarr isn't. He's playing incredibly well at number 10. He's undroppable at the moment. Because Simmons ain't available. But the main thing we have to do, we're assembling a squad. Whether we think it's good enough for a top 4 charge or winning anything, we'll find out. But the way we're going to keep these players on their toes and on form, you were saying Kulusevski as well, Ben, said for the first 6 months, he's great. And he is great. Do you know why he's not great for the next part?
Go on, hit me.
Every single fucking game, he's exhausted, he's shattered. I keep saying, and Maz will know this, I said this for years, our players are overplayed and undervalued. And I don't mean financially, I mean the fact that they just play. They don't get they don't get to rest. They don't get to say, right, let's just say we've got a Champions League game here, but we've got a big game here. I can't have you playing in both. I want you for this one, you for this. That's what we got to do. If we're going to get further, you look at these squad depths. There's games where Liverpool monitor Salah and go, Salah, listen, you're sitting out this one. But we've got enough there. Go on, Maz.
I do think I am a little bit confused with the Akanji speculation because we bought that Japanese fella. Is it Katai?
Katai, yeah.
Yeah, and so why did we buy him?
He's only a kid, isn't he?
Oh, so is Simmons in a way. He's only 22. You know what I mean? So
a bit more experience.
Yeah, fair enough. I know. I'm being funny with it, but
facetious.
Yeah, facetious. Yeah. When you look at how many defenders we've bought in the last few windows, we've bought a hell of a lot. And you've got Qatar, you've got Danso, you've got Dragusin coming back. But we've also kept Ben Davies around. So I'm kind of a little bit confused as to if we bought a Akanji, who is he playing second fiddle to?
Porro.
Now, I'm saying this on the caveat that we don't get injuries this season because if you look at Romero's and Van der Ven's injury record, they're not exactly
It's not exactly good,
consistent.
is it?
No. So maybe Frank is thinking, you know what? To Brian's point, I need more strength in depth here, and Akanji is a bit more versatile than the others. I don't think we're going to have a problem with players being unhappy because, unless we don't really have big names. So the only really big names that would demand a starting place is people like Romero. I think Van der Ven would get a bit upset if he was on the bench now, knowing who he is. Who else? Simmons will probably be pissed off if he was dropped, and Kudus. But who else is going to get annoyed? Because everyone's been going in and out of that team, especially with Ange last year and the year before. That I don't think we're going to have problems with people being unhappy. But I think we're lighter in the midfield than what we are in defence. So if we buy an Akanji, I'll get annoyed that we haven't bolstered up the midfield options.
Makes sense.
Because Tell is like being -1 in the squad. Like, even though he's a number in the squad, it's like you subtract instead of add.
Same as Gray. Same as Odegaard.
Yeah. It's these aren't. They've got massive potential, but these aren't players that I think are going to carry us over the line or get us deep in the competition. So Akanji's, I don't know. Is he an upgrade on Dragusin and Danzo?
It's an upgrade
Maybe
on.
It's an upgrade on right back choice,
yes.
Baz. It's an upgrade on right back choice to not put Gray there.
Yeah, but we've got Danzo can play right back, and so can.
But what if he goes back 3 in Europe? That's the thing. If he goes back 3 in Europe, then it's going to be Danzo, Van der Ven, Romero, isn't it?
Yeah,
until Dragusin's back anyway, which is a couple of months.
Yeah.
But the thing is, well, Maz, I think with those, I think the left winger on another 10 is the number one priority for Tottenham. I think that is where we all know that needs to be done. But if you can on deadline day get one of those two for as little as 15 mil,
yeah, that is good business.
Then you're going to take it, aren't you? You're going to take it at 15.
And this is what really confuses me, because on when we signed Xavi, I was delighted. Obviously, it was a great day for Spurs because we haven't signed a top player like that in quite a while.
What do you think on that signing overall, Maz? Sorry to interrupt you there.
I think he's better than Eze.
Yeah.
But if I'm honest, I actually think he's better than Eze.
And stats back it up, don't they, Maz?
And stats back it up. And
True.
I never considered Simon because I always thought in my head he's going Chelsea no matter what. So I just didn't talk about him. But had I known that we could have nipped in there and got him, I would have been all over it all season.
All right, can I just let you know some news? Some news has just literally cut. Oh no, it hasn't come in. It was 419. Apparently, from DiMarzio, we've put in a 20 million euro bid for Akanji already.
And AC Milan can't afford it, basically.
Yeah, the player would like to stay in England. So this it's from DiMarzio at Sky Sports. So I thought it had just come through. It was a couple of hours ago, but it looks like there is some serious legs with Akanji, like some serious legs.
You see, I'll get annoyed if we've got Akanji, but we then passed up on a midfield option.
I think a midfield is coming in, brother. I think it is.
If we do both, then I don't know what crack they've smoked, in the last few weeks, but it's obviously worked.
Just keep giving them. Just keep giving it to them.
It just begs the question: why did we spend £40 million on Tell? Because if we're scrabbling around for another either another number 10 or a left midfielder, because Xavi can play both, so it depends on what they're thinking in terms of what position they're specifically going for. But why buy Tell? Why spend that 40 million quid? Just doesn't make sense. Because he's that bad.
I think that one was done and dusted. That's the problem with that one. I think personally, I think what the deal was with that is he didn't want to come to Spurs. He didn't want to come here, and that was made quite clearly. And then I think it was made quite clearly to him, you ain't getting a place here in Munich, mate. And then he said, come to Spurs, do a loan here with us, see what he likes. I think the deal was already writ out between Spurs and Munich, is if he decides to come to us at the end of the loan, job
but we
done,
didn't have an
basically.
obligation to buy though. Why wouldn't they write that into?
No, I don't mean on an
contract?
obligation. I mean that Spurs were willing to do it, and he wasn't willing to do it at the time.
But this
Wanted
is
a loan
where
sign.
we're foolish.
We shouldn't
right?
have done it. We shouldn't have
because
done it. I agree.
Look at that Cardoso thing. They did, I think it was the player that didn't want to come in the end. But we get other clubs and players doing it to us. So why don't we do it to them? So no, sorry, you're not good enough. We don't want you. That's what big clubs do, right? If you're not good enough, you're not coming.
Well, hopefully that will happen now with Frank. Hopefully, we've been such a shit show recently, and this go. I mean, we were a shit show under Conte at the end, not because of Conte.
Yeah,
the whole recruitment. I mean, you've seen what Frank said about recruitment. He wants that all changed. Obviously, Predatory's coming back in. Tells here, will he improve? I think he will. Will he improve enough? We don't know.
You get worse, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, well, but mate, do you know what?
Like, time is on his side, but I don't think he's. I don't think he's got it, Brian. You know, when you can just look at a player and he's sorry, Jimmy's caught my no. Tottenham away isn't done. We're coming back soon. I can't see. I don't want to keep harping on about this one player, but it's things like that that make me think Spurs haven't changed. Albeit this has been the main, by Spurs' standard, this has been a great window. Do you get what I mean? Like this season has been a fantastic window. They've come in at typical Spurs at the dying depths of the window and sorted it out and brought in a star player, which is great. But we're still 2 players short on what we should have gone out and gone for. We still left it too late. And we still brought in crap players. Because we don't know if that Takai is going to be any good. We don't know if Tell is going to be any good. So that's £45 million that I want available to go and get a Lookman, to go and get whoever else up front, the Paqueta up front.
Guys, going back to what you just said about that extra midfield option that we need, do you not feel now that we've got number 10 coming in, and obviously the return of Kulu coming at some point? Do you not feel Sarr will drop back to a deeper role and cover that?
I've been saying that. When I see Sarr, because he's such a good box-to-box, it's a bit like Jermaine Genius, although, it's a bit like Jermaine Genius. He just runs up and down the pitch all day long.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's a good reference.
Better. Yeah.
I think that's a good reference, actually, Maz.
I see him. I just think he shines when he's just covering the back and just running all over the place.
Yeah,
because
me too.
He just doesn't have the quality when he goes forward. But then he can improve on that because he shows signs here and there of quality. I don't know. He surprised me. It's taken him 3-4 years, but you've got to give it to the boy. He's playing really well.
So far, so good.
Would you go as far to say undroppable right now? Because I certainly would.
In today's team, when Evie Simmons is available, no. Then you look at Bentancur and Paulinho, who were magnificent together against Man City. Absolutely. If I had to say anything at the moment, I'd say Paulinho is the undroppable one.
But what a nice problem to have, Brian.
Exactly. This is the thing. Like when you were saying, what you've got to look at with Simmons as well. We've said for a long, long time that when we put out our first 11 and we have our first 11 available, it's always a very, very good team. But the problem is the bench.
Yeah.
So if, let's just say, the next game against West Ham, Sarr's on the bench, that bench is already elevated to what we've had previously, because that's what we need to have. We need to have a bench that when players come on, they're actual game changers, not this one's tired or on a yellow card. It's like, no, we need a game changer. Let's bring an ace on the deck out, and that's what we need to do. So if people are on that bench, imagine Kudus has been playing out of his skin, but he's getting tired. So you have him on the bench for a game, and you see Kudus coming off the bench. You're like, oh, Jesus Christ, here we go. That's what Spurs have needed to do, improve that bench. And the only way you improve that bench is buying people to go into that first team and saying, right, now there's going to be a battle between you two, or I'm going to rest and rotate you because we need to keep you fit for X, Y, and Z. And that's what we need to do. So you look at Sarr, if it's number 10, West Ham, and he wants to keep Paulinho and Bentancur together, then Sarr will be on the bench. When West Ham are getting tired at the end of the game, what players to bring on? Like you and Matt just said.
Yeah.
This is what it's about now. It's a squad game now, isn't it? And we need that bench to be stronger.
We can bring in Akalush or Lookman. Oh wow! Now I'll genuinely be excited to watch us play because you know that means we've brought in effectively 3 sort of star players in one window, which
well,
I think
4 players that are good enough for the first 11, more than good enough for the first.
Yeah,
11,
and I was saying to the guys last night, Stelwiggy and stuff like that. We would have been happy with 3 first 11 players, and to be fair, that's what they've done. Now, there's been other problems that require us to buy more, but if you said at the start of the window you're going to buy 3 first 11 players, would you be happy with that? You know, you're going to have to say yes, aren't you? Knowing what Spurs is like, and knowing the crap that we can bring in on a regular basis into the club.
It's unprecedented for Spurs. Let's be honest. We've not gone out.
I've been listening a lot. I've been listening a lot to the shows that Sav has done and everything. And what I don't want to derail your show, Dan, but what I can't get my head around
what you want, mate.
is why does one transfer window wash away all of the sins of the past?
It doesn't.
It doesn't, right? And why is it that, you know, what levy out people? And I know at least 3 of us are levy out because we went to the protest together. But what levy out people have ever said? Oh no, everything Daniel Levy's done is bad. I don't think any of us have ever said that ever. We all recognise that he's built a magnificent stadium. We all recognise that he's raised the revenues of the club. We all recognise that in comparison league placings to what we were in the 90s, that we've been up there in Europe consistently and everything. Our main grievance is that there is no ambition to actually become a winning club like we used to be in the past in terms of going for trophies. That's really our main point.
Bingo.
It's not anything else.
I think what it comes down to, Maz, the way a lot of people see things, to me, with this situation as a whole, and I don't want to go into a Levy one, but you're either, the only way I can describe it is political. You're either far left or you're far right. You're not allowed to be in the middle and swing a little bit left or swing a bit right or just be on the fence. It's either one or the other. Whereas I feel there's a lot more who are more in the middle and a bit more that side and a bit more that side and whatever else. I think the way other people look at it as well is, like it or lump it, you can't change the past. You can't do that. But one thing you can do is have a say on the future as such. And I think that's how some people look on it. Like, right, all right, it's been a total mess, but if he gets his act together now, I can deal with it as such. The question is, we'll see in the next few windows, basically. I think that's how
absolutely, and the reason why the past is important because it tells you what you need to do differently for the future. And
exactly.
Where I will give credit to what's happened this window is that we've brought in 3 first 11 players when we've needed to, albeit we could have done it earlier, but you know, at least we've done it. And I'll go, you know, I'll give credit to Tottenham for doing that, you know, and Levy and the board and everything.
It's that thing you would have done earlier.
I just hope that this isn't a one-off, because you know what Spurs is like. They'll buy in a Vicario, Van der Ven, and a Maddison for one season, and then the following season they'll bring in a Werner and a Tell.
That's what you're just hoping they don't isn't going to happen. Yeah, same. And that is just what we're hoping. I think Maz, what I think a lot of it just comes down to with a lot of people is you just can't change the fucking past. So let's just look at the future. And at the moment, up until a day ago, the future was looking not so bright. And then after yesterday, the future looks significantly better. But then there's that other side of, well, we've all seen what happens, what is going to happen in the future. So at the moment, I think we can be happy with what we've got. I don't like the way the transfer window's been done again in the aspect of things have been left to the last minute, but we all know how this bloody club works, and I've got the attitude, as long as the fucking deal gets done, it gets done.
I'll tell you
Not that I
something.
like that.
But it's all very predatory. Do you not feel it's? I feel like even the deals that we've done are very predatory. I don't feel like we've gone specifically out, and gone, right, we need this, we need that, we need this. Let's just go and pay the money for him, pay the money for. I'm so sorry. Pay the money for him. I feel like every signing we've made has been predatory. Look, I'm on the side when it comes to Levy that I feel like you have to look at the past because it gives you an insight to the future. Because if you sat down and thought about it logically, with everything we've experienced as Tottenham Hotspur fans when it comes to Daniel Levy, statistically, he's far more likely to go on in the future, carrying on as he's done in the past. And I don't think one decent window should then go, okay, let's give him a clean slate. Now, again, I don't want to turn this into a Levy thing,
I
same as
agree.
Dan, but I just feel like one window out of 20, 25 years should not go, he deserves a clean slate. Does he really? Again, it's just my opinion.
No, but you can only go. You can't
Yeah,
change
indeed.
the past.
But
let me just say
to-
one thing on this because I'm going to need to go very shortly and get ready for the yard. I think what people got to understand right now, and people know how staunch Levy out I am, what I've done, where I've been, the shit I've taken, everything. Right now, in this moment as we speak, we have brought in 3 first-team players of elite quality. Still time in the window to go. It's what people like myself were campaigning for, protesting for, whatever word you want to use, for 16 days straight in minus temperatures outside the training ground. It's what standing outside the shop for an entire season. This is what we wanted. And then when we get it, yes, at the moment, it's just a one-time thing. It looks like at the moment, and hopefully they build on it. But at the moment, I am so pumped up because of Thomas Frank, because that's the man I really, really wanted. We've brought in 3 fantastic players. Like Matt said before, when was the last time we brought in 3 first-team players that walk into the first team? Not, okay, one for the future, whatever. Walk into this first team. Still stuff to do. At the moment, it's enjoy the goddamn moment. This is what we all wanted.
Yep.
We're going into a game at Bournemouth. We've won our first 2 games. We haven't conceded a goal. I think that continues when we win 3-0 today. Simmons is going to be presented. There's still 2 days of the windows to boost this squad up. Whether we do, whether we don't, with quality, we'll soon find out. Right now, as a Spurs fan base, obviously there's issues with the ownership. My stance doesn't change because we bought one elite player in Simmons. But right now, everything I wanted to have done as a Spurs fan, on the pitch, I've got other gripes with him off the pitch for the fans and history, but it's time
done.
right now. We're going into a game. We should all be pumped up that elite players are coming, first teamers are coming. Now, Daniel Levy, carry on doing this. Now, Tottenham Hotspur, carry on doing this. It doesn't change one bit of where I stand on this ownership because of this window. I want to see at least 5, 6, 7 of them to go, right, now there's change.
It's about
Now-
what Dean has just said here, Brian. It's about consistency.
Exactly this. Exactly this. This is what it comes down to. Right now, it's all about, let's see where we are when the window shuts. Let's enjoy this moment that we've got these players coming in, that we look very, very well organised and we look well. And let's just enjoy the game today, and then we'll see what happens at the window. I mean, like I said, I stood out there for 16 days straight for 12 hours a day because I wanted to see players like Kudus, Paulinho, and Simmons come in one window. And they've come. And let's just hope there's more to come. Let's just hope this isn't a flash in the pan, it's the norm. And then if it is the norm over 2, 3, 4 years, then you can say, do you know what? There's been real change at this football club. But right here, right now, how can you not be happy with... Forget the part. Forget right now. I'm talking about the football team that we wanted improvement on. Just put the past, like, put something there. Doesn't just for this moment where we've gone this window. If we all sat here after the Brighton game and said, this is the window we're going to have, every single one of us would have said, oh, shut the fuck up. That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. It never happened. Well, it has. And there's more to come. Once this window closes, Frank's got his team. It's on Frank, who I have every fucking faith in. And then we go from there. But right now, don't change. I'm still leaving you out till I die. Every single breath of mine is to get the ownership back. Right now, it's about what we did this summer, and we've excelled this summer. Or so far with what we've done.
Be happy with what you got in it, basically.
Exactly.
But can I just say, given Thomas Frank... Oh, sorry.
Just do my goodbye. I'm going to have to... Rob Belcher, I'll catch up with you soon, but I will just let people know. Dan, thanks for having me on. Benji, always good to see you. Maz, I'll see you soon, bro. Tonight, I will be doing another late night Lily White from 2 a.m. UK time, which is 9 p.m. here. But on Sunday, I don't know why I said this live on air, and I will stick to it now. I said live on air because I got my time differences wrong. I'm going to be trying to go from 2 a.m. UK time to the deadline day at 7 p.m.
Why do you do this to yourself, Brian?
Because I'm an idiot, and I got the times right. I started working out the Canadian times, and I crossed over the Canadian time with the British time. And what I thought was a 10-hour stream has become a 15-hour stream. So if people during the evening on Sunday or wake up early morning and want to help and have some fun and joke about and watch the deadline go by, I will be live from 2 a.m. to tomorrow morning for reviewer today, and then 2 a.m. Sunday or 2 a.m. Monday deadline day. And I'm trying to go all the way through to 7 p.m. So
just
if people
injure yourself in the process.
Oh, mate, do you know what? Why not? Why if I do that and we sign no one, then I'm going to be pissed off. Then I'll be pissed off. 15 hours for no signing, I'll be pissed off. But
it's like the charity one I've got to do, want to do, and just been waiting for the right time to do it. Basically, it's taking a little bit of time, but I'm going to do it during the international break, so it's not going to get in the middle of any Spurs games.
There you go. You do that. Well, listen, enjoy it.
Like I've said, I can only do a 12-hour one basically because I can't do a 24-hour. I haven't got. It's down to medical reasons and also a 12-hour one. 12-hour, I can push that. 24, I can't do that shit. Our Sava does that. I'll take me out off to him. Fair play, mate, in that aspect. Rather you than me.
I'll see you lads later on. Have a good day. Come on, you Spurs. Thomas, Frank. Thomas, Frank.
See you, Rob.
Take care.
Take care, Bryce.
I would
go on, Maz. Go on.
I would love. I think what will make this window complete for me is if we do bring in Lookman. I think then we have a formidable front line again. What that does mean, though, is I can't see what we're going to do with the players that we want to see out of the club because we're just so bad at selling. So we still got players like Richarlison, which albeit is done well for a couple of games. How long is it before he gets injured again? And we're thinking, oh God, we need another striker again, which is why we need Lookman as well, because you need those additional players up front to do the business. If we buy Akanji, I will be disappointed, not because he's not a good player and he doesn't have strength in depth, because we're going to have problems if we get injuries up top.
Yeah, I think we've got players that can cover it up top. Like on the worst case scenario, I mean, Tell's meant to be a striker, but I wouldn't put him there. I'd rather put Johnson there personally, if you give me the choice in that. Not that I even rate Johnson, but he at least knows where the goal is in that aspect. So we definitely need some more depth there, and it does seem that we're seeming it very hard at the moment to get rid of players or as such because we haven't actually sold anyone, have we?
Yeah, just Son, I think. Isn't it just Son?
Oh, yeah, apart from Son.
Youngster or something for £1 million or whatever.
Yeah, I think Son is the only one that has gone anywhere, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, Son and Josh Keeley, the keeper.
And I think the other one we might see the back of by the end of the window is Basuma, and that depends whether we buy another centre mid or whether we buy a 10 or a left winger, and then we know what Simmons is there for, either he's a 10 or a left winger, whatever else. And then the story takes its place a bit better where Sarr can drop back into midfield when need be. But then the other one that we're meant to be having a serious look at, Maz, is Conor Gallagher. We're meant to be willing to take him on loan and pay 45 million afterwards, and that West Ham, Villa, Man U want him. It's just going by what I read.
Wouldn't he be a more long-term player as opposed to Paulinho when Paulinho gets a bit old?
Yes, I think he'd definitely be one that's good for getting on buy him basically, and that, and for when Paulinho, they can sort of swap over places on that as well. I think he would be a brilliant add to the first team. Basically, I think he's better than Bentancur. If I'm going to be,
I don't think so. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Bentancur gets a lot of hate, unwarranted hate for. I don't know the reasons why he gets so much hate. He was our best player, one of our best players under Conte. And in the first season with Ange, if you recall, when he got injured again, long term, we were all like, oh my God, the season's over because Bentancur's got injured.
Oh, I think he's a very good player. Don't get me wrong.
And he came back obviously last year, and he wasn't at his best, but then who was at their best under Ange last year? Like no one. So I don't know. I think Bentancur gets a hard rap for not a lot of reasons. You know, how many times has he been the cause of a goal that we can remember in the last few years? Maybe once or twice, maybe if that. He never does anything like really bad, aside from maybe get sent off or injured.
I suppose it's more what you want out of the player, isn't it? If you want a bit more of a deep lying playmaker sort of thing, then Bentancur's your man. If you want your box to box man that he's going to get stuck into everything he can and everything, then Gallagher is definitely the better option on that aspect. Two type of players.
I think they would complement each other as opposed to Gallagher replaces.
So basically, what you're saying is play Paulinho 2 games later, play Gallagher for 2 games, sort of rotate them two. If we did get him.
That's the way I would personally do it.
And then you can rotate Bentancur with Sarr and everything. It gives us options, doesn't it?
I think with Gallagher, he's a lot more offensive than Paulinho, isn't he? He's got that ability to get up the pitch. I feel like maybe your lower block teams, you might be all right switching him in rather than Paulinho. So it could work wonderfully, really, couldn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree with you, Benji. Here's the thing. What we don't know with Paulinho is how long he's going to be good for. He might be one of those defensive midfielders that is brilliant until his mid-30s, like Kante, Makelele back in the day, etc., etc. We just don't know.
Oh. Makelele does not get enough bloody credit for the player he was, as far as I'm concerned. He was very underrated.
He was a template for... Oh, so good.
It was a template for Kante and the rest.
That's the one. That's what I was going to say. Thank you. Yeah.
So we don't know. I mean, a lot of people think Paulinho is going to be this short-term thing, and I'm not so sure. He looks a really fit bloke. Even when he's unfit, he looks really fit. So who knows?
I mean,
I wouldn't mind Gallagher if I'm honest. But what does annoy me is that he's a Chelsea boy, and that really does annoy me because the last thing we need is like another Jason Cundy in the next 10, 20 years.
You're on the wrong show for that. Dan's going to tell you, Maz. He don't care. As long as he does the business on the pitch.
Mate. Maz, when it comes down to the crunch, I don't care what they do off the pitch. If they want to go down to the pub and have a pint, and even if they want to go in the toilet and have a bit of fun, even if they want to go out there and be a fucking unicorn and a lamppost, I could not care less what they do, as long as they perform on the pitch, that's all I give a shit about at the end of the day. I mean, each their own.
Wouldn't it be great if he came to Spurs and we I don't know, we won a couple of cups and or done something great with us and he didn't do it with them?
Again, it's another one. Right, the next bit I want to ask you two about, I haven't had really a chance of doing this one, is what do you think of that Champions League draw we got there? I mean, because for me, personal opinion, I'll go with this first. That's 3, 6, 9, 12. I'm expecting at least 15 points out of that.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I think we dodged a lot of scary bullets. If I'm honest. Yeah.
I think the only 3 teams that I worry about out of those is just I don't know about Villarreal. I would say Monaco, Paris, Dortmund. Although Monaco have had the manager change, haven't they?
Yes.
Monaco, I think, is definitely one we need to watch out for. That's more one where we're likely to lose points on, but not necessarily get beat on. But when it comes to Copenhagen, Glimt, Slava Prague, Frankfurt, I expect wins out of them 4.
Yeah.
And then I expect at least a draw out of Villarreal, even though I think we got the strength to beat them as such. Monaco is one I think we can at least get a point from. Dortmund, I don't think they are that good.
Not as good as they used to be, no.
No, not as good as they used to be. I think that's one we can get 3 points from, but don't surprise if we got a
Paris Saint-Germain, I can't see us beating them home or away, if I'm honest.
No. Paris Saint-Germain, when they're going to be informed by then, they will still pretty much wipe the floor of us. Even though they didn't in that game, they will still have us as far as I'm concerned on that one. But that's one that if we go and lose that, you can sort of sit there and go, it happens. But the others,
I think we've been quite lucky, to be honest.
Very favourable.
Because,
I mean, there's 2 of them we already done last year.
Exactly. I'm actually really looking forward to it. Now we've got, so isn't it amazing the way one player can change your outlook on the whole team just because we brought in one good player?
I mean, for me, with that Champions League draw, the only team that concerns me, which is, I think, just a little bit obvious, Bodo Glimt, is PSG. Look, I don't think Dortmund are what they used to be. I don't think they offer too much of a threat. I just think a lot of Spurs fans might be looking at that and thinking, of the outcomes perhaps before the transfer market started and we brought in all this quality. I feel like we've really upped our game. Spurs have taken it up a level, and I just feel looking at those teams, aside from PSG, I'm not worried. I'm not even worried about Monaco. Villarreal, they're a decent team, but I'm sorry, we should blow them off the park. If I'm brutally honest with you, I don't think they've got the quality to compete with us. But again,
don't underestimate Villarreal, though. They do beat big teams.
I know they do. Any of those teams could beat us at the end of the day. But I just feel on paper, we've got one team really and truly that we've got to worry about. I feel like we can get wins elsewhere. But, as you said, anyone can win on the day, can't they?
Yeah, I mean, someone's just putting it. Who's that? The Joker. The games in order have already come out with. I mean, is this the order we're going to play them in? Copenhagen, Paris Saint-Germain, Slava Prague, Dortmund. Yeah, and from there, I think we should be in. I personally think with who we've got, we should be in that top 8.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Or is that
I
going
can't
a bit
see
too...
anyone in that Villarreal team that I'm worried about, if I'm honest.
No. But they're always a well-oiled machine, aren't they, Villarreal? They always put up a good fight. But I just don't think they've got the quality. That's all it is for me anyway.
Yeah, and I feel there's a couple of them games that we can actually rotate on as well. And I wouldn't say, like, obviously bringing in youth players and stuff like that. But I do think there is a few games on there that if we look at that again quickly, that we can say that there is a couple of teams like Glimt, Copenhagen. I'm not saying underestimate anybody. The minute you underestimate somebody is when you get knocked out on the floor, basically. But there is teams like that where we can use rotation, basically. And that is a good thing. I mean, because that Champions, I mean, I can't remember the exact ones they had. If I bring up the whole thing here, I mean, you've got to admit, the ones there that look, I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I think Chelsea got the dirtiest one out of everybody with having played Barcelona, Bayern Munich, 100%. Benfica, Atalanta are not a bad side. Ajax, not the team they used to be, but they're still no mugs. Napoli, and then the other 2, they'll walk all over. I mean,
didn't we struggle against Karabag?
Yeah, but that was down to the team we put on there, basically. That like kids team sort of thing. And if we also have a look at it with Arsenal, Bayern Munich do love to wipe the floor with English teams a lot of the time, and they do usually wipe the floor. Well, they always fuck us right over, but they have got a very good record against Arsenal. Inter, my second team, I don't think they're quite the team they were 2 seasons ago, but they have brought some players in and changed it a bit. I think the thing that screwed them up for the Champions League final, where I've never seen Inter get taken apart like that before. I mean, PSG absolutely pulled their pants down and destroyed them, basically. But you could see they was burnt out by the end of the season. I think that's why they lost the season as well. They was burnt out. But Inter Milan there's still no mugs. But then if you look at the rest of the teams they have to play, Arsenal should walk through that as well, bar a game or two. And Liverpool,
Arsenal are funny in Europe. I've seen them, I've seen them been given trouble by Olympiacos in the past before.
Well, that small tin pot European club that never win anything in Europe.
Exactly.
You said it, not me, mate.
They got to the semi-finals in the Champions League last year. When you got to look at it, Arsenal just don't seem to. They can't win it. They just can't do it, and their European record for a club that size is absolutely abysmal. It's an embarrassment.
Yes, they can't get it over the line.
Yeah, in Europe, they're more embarrassing. They're just as embarrassing as England. Basically, we are international as such. At least in Spurs, we can say we've got a few things in Europe. But apart from Bayern Munich and Inter, Arsenal should be able to deal with that pretty easy. I mean, when it comes to Liverpool, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, and then I'd say the only ones they got to keep an eye on there. I don't know. Galatasaray can be awkward bastards, in my opinion.
And it's away as well. It's away.
Yeah, no one.
Yeah, I don't see Arsenal or Liverpool's running that bad, all things considered.
2 hard games. The rest they should win.
Yeah. I think Newcastle have got a harder running. To be honest with you,
I mean, if I look at City, City, they was not good last season by their standards, and they still finished 3rd. But they should wipe the floor with Dortmund. We always know Real Madrid is just going to be one of them games. Leverkusen ain't going to be half the team they was. They're just literally losing their players now. And then they should be able to deal with Villarreal. Napoli is going to be an awkward one, but they should be able to deal with them. Same as Bodo Glimt, Monaco, and Galatasaray. Newcastle, Barcelona, PSG, Benfica ain't no mugs. Leverkusen, again, not half the team they were. PSV, they should deal with them. Marseille, no mugs, but should deal with them. Athletic Club and also Union, they should deal with them. And then there's our one, which I just think out of everyone, we just got the easiest draw out of the lot of them, basically.
Do any of you two have a dark horse for your Champions League run this year? I'm looking at a team like Napoli and think they could possibly do quite well.
Yeah, although Conte doesn't do that well in Europe, does he?
No, that don't seem to be his place. That's the only thing that's ever let Conte down as a manager, isn't it? Like Europe, he's
such
never
an
really...
amazing manager. Yet for some reason in Europe, he doesn't. You never know, though. He may just.
It might be his year.
Bloody good team. Napoli are a really good team.
Yeah,
he's done it again. He's done an amazing job. What's happened with Osherman? Has he gone back?
No, not that I know of.
So he stayed in Galatasaray.
As far as I know, unless
Ain't
someone
that
tells me
weird?
differently. I haven't really actually checked that one up, if I'll be honest with you.
Don't you think that's weird?
There's more to it than that. There's
What,
more
money?
to it than
All
that.
the money going there at the moment.
Not just the money. There's a lot more to it than that. Let's just say he's not a very popular person with the fans, and the fans over there ain't quite as much of a pussy as the fans over here.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fans over there will turn up and say, how shall I put it? Does your wife want to come for dinner with me? If you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Go on, Ben.
Fellas, I've just seen something, and I'm sure everyone's heard of it, but Fabrizio Romano has just posted again 3 hours ago. Kobbie Mainoo again has asked Manchester United about a chance to go on loan in the final 48 hours of the summer transfer window. Boys, is he someone that you would have at Tottenham? Do you feel like it'd be needed? Kobbie Mainoo, or Mainoo, however you want to pronounce it.
Mainoo.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say no to him being at Spurs.
He's a decent little player. I'm really shocked at that. I mean, I've seen, I thought it was just hearsay, but he genuinely wants to leave.
But what the problem I've got with him is he wouldn't want to be backup to Bentancur or Paulinho. And he's not really going to play number 10, is he, for us?
No.
I've just had a message here quickly. Oshman, he signed permanent with Galatasaray for 75 million.
Wow.
How have they got that money? Jesus.
Let's just say they do things through the government.
Yeah, that's mental.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, I just don't know where Mainoo would fit into our squad. I mean, if he came and he was a backup to either Paulinho, well, he wouldn't really be a Paulinho replacement, would he? He would be more of an 8 type player. So he'll be a Bentancur, Sarr replacement. But I can see him wanting first team football. Why would he, otherwise, why would he leave now? Well, I know we know why he would leave Man United at the moment, but.
So he's a player you like, you just don't feel like he'd fit. I mean, I'd totally go with that. I'm similar.
Well, when he was playing well, I kept moaning on Tottenham away. Why isn't Bissouma like Mainoo? Like why have we got Bissouma? Who was like one of the top rated midfielders when he was at Brighton.
Yep.
And he can't put in a consistent shifting like Mainoo could at Man United when he was playing. Not the season before.
I mean, someone's just said to me is anyone watch the players arriving, the pigeon looks annoyed and upset. Sarr was putting his arm around him, like chin up sort of thing. Didn't acknowledge the camera. Could he be injured? I don't know.
If he's injured, I'm going to laugh so much.
Can't be serious.
And it's not out of a funny way you're going to laugh. It's just going to be one of them things out of just.
It's funny, Dad. Come on,
you've got to laugh at it.
In his first season, he scored one bloody goal, was injured most of the season. In his second season, he had that purple patch, and he got injured for the rest of the season. Now he's had like a 2-game purple patch, and he's going to be injured again.
There's no way. There's no way. Surely not.
Okay, only time will tell on that one in that aspect. Yeah, I mean, I'll be able to look at that soonish or whatever. I mean, I don't get to start watching the game.
He does wear his heart on his sleeve, though, Richarlison. You could sort of you
can't take that away from him, can you?
Yeah.
You can't
You've
take
got to
that
love
away from him.
You've got to love the character of Richarlison, but that's as much as you can love about Richarlison.
Benji, I don't know, mate. You're pushing it too far now, right?
I mean,
our Timo R9. Jesus.
I mean, what do you two think on the formation we're going to use and the players we're going to pick?
Go on, mate.
Today,
yeah,
I think it's going to be the same as against City.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I can't see there be any changes.
No.
So you think it's going to be a 4-2-3-1?
Correct.
You'd imagine it'd be an offensive formation, wouldn't you? Really?
And I'd say the back 5 go without saying, i.e. Vicario, Spence on the left, Van der Ven, Romero, Porro. And then, Paulinho, Bentancur in the middle, Kudus, Johnson, Sarr, and depending on Richarlison's injured or not, basically.
Exactly. The 4-2-3-1 lends itself well, right, to just turning into a 4-3-3 when we've got loads of possession.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great, obviously, when you're defending.
And it's also good for when the pressure's on you that much, like it did a few times. You can drop it to 5 at the back, basically, like we did with Paulinho stepping in the middle of Romero and Van der Ven, and then Sarr coming back to cover the middle and the others tightening up as such. And then Johnson doing his little ghost thing, but he still scored.
Isn't it funny the way that's what Poch used to do, or play the 4-2-3-1?
Yeah. But when needed, when the game was on it, I mean, a lot of people say we don't play with 5 at the back, 3 at the back. Frank don't do it. Well, he's done it in 2 games now, basically. He done it against PSG, and then in the game against City, if we started as a 4-2-3-1, and that's how we played. But at times,
you know what,
5 at the back when needed.
I don't like the 5. The 5, 5 at the back, basically, with 2 wing backs at Spurs. I don't know what it is, but everything tells you that Porro and Udogie or Spence would be amazing in that formation, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen amazing performances from those 2 when we do that. Forget about
PSG.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, but was it?
Yes, it was. Yes, it bloody was.
No, not the overall game. I'm talking those 2 specifically.
I thought they were great. Did you not think so?
I think they had a very good game.
Well, fair enough.
I think they were good. I think you're right. Maybe I need to watch some of the game back again.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's I mean, it's my favourite formation personally, a 5-2-2-1 or 3-4-2-1, whatever they call it. Yeah, but I understand against games like Bournemouth, Brentford, stuff like that, you don't have to play that way. But then if you play the 4-2-3-1 in a way you can, like Poch used to do it, and like I've seen Frank do it once. Whereas when it gets a bit heavy at the back, then Paulinho steps into the middle to make it 5 at the back. Sarr comes back. It gives us that option of swapping formations as the game is going on to how the game momentum is going as such. And Ange just didn't do that.
I think what really put me off was when in the last 10 minutes of the PSG game, it all fell apart when we made those 2 changes. And then all of a sudden that formation didn't help us.
Mm.
I think that's what scarred me, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
I just felt that considering how many we didn't look convincing for some reason in the last 10 minutes in that formation, and when we were like defending for our lives.
With PSG?
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you know what I think actually happened there?
But against City, though, against City, we looked amazing, fully in control.
I
Lesson
personally
learned.
think it's purely an opinion. I think Frank got everything right up until the transfers he made. I think he fucked up on the transfers basically.
Subs,
the way
you mean?
I see it on the subs, yeah. Sorry, and I think he fucked up on the subs a bit. Archie Gray should never have stepped on that pitch, come love nor money, and nor should tell. Yeah, the way I would have dealt with it. I mean, I had a massive debate with Sava over it and that, and it's purely opinion. The way I would have dealt with it is Paulinho had to come off. I get it. I would have then pushed up Romero to play my DM role, but as an anchor man. You stay there, do your DM role, and then put Davis in the middle. Now, people are saying, why the fuck would you put Davis there? He's still a defender and got a little bit of experience. And then you put Romero in front of him. And at least, okay, you might be breaking up that back four you've got a bit, but you've still got a defender in there. And I don't care what anybody tells me, Romero can handle a DM for 20 minutes, for fuck's sake. In my opinion.
Don't you think, though, Dan, that what actually failed us in that game was just the press just stopped? As soon as those 2 changes happened, the press stopped, and that was it. So it doesn't matter who was in those defensive positions; it wouldn't have worked.
You know what? I could not agree more, Maz. Like for me, and I'm going to specifically target one player. Gray was standing like 5 to 8 yards off his man rather than pressing him and closing him down.
He touched the ball once in 20 minutes.
Yeah, he did. Now, I know Dan's saying drop back and shut up shop. I understand that. But for me, I think with a team like PSG, I feel like you can't do that. I feel like the way to get around them is to not give them time, to press them like dogs, especially fresh players that just come on. That's why I was so upset with Tell and Gray.
But when your team's so knackered, Ben, you just can't go and do that. Sometimes you got to do what a Conte or what a Mourinho does. And that is when shut up shop, I mean shut the fucking door, basically. Sometimes you got to do... What did we do against Man U?
Mate, no, look, I hear you, but I just feel like the fresher players should have been instructed. Yeah, but I still feel like the fresher players...
We shut the door.
Yeah.
Ange even brought on defenders. And we shut that bloody door because we knew we couldn't do anything else anywhere else.
I agree with Benji, though. We should have... We had the fresher players. That's 100% certain. I don't know. Either way, that 5-3-2 formation, I don't see us playing that against the weaker teams. We shouldn't play that against the weaker teams.
I agree.
And we should really today we should give them a battering, even though they're a half decent team. We should. I would be a little bit disappointed if we don't give them a battering.
I mean, what do you think? So we go to that then. So what do you think the score's going to be like today? How do you think today should go? How do you think it will go?
I hope for a 3-0. That's what I hope for.
And what sort of game do you think we're going to have on them? Do you think we're just going to give them too much pressure that they can't handle, basically?
Domination. I want to see. What I want to see is like a Harry Redknapp / Pochettino domination game. To see, like, is Frank? Is that Frank's mindset? Does he want to control the game in that way? because I really miss us doing that. Ange didn't do it, funnily enough, at all. Apart from in parts of his first season and for a few games, we didn't really dominate teams that much. We passed it a lot around the back, which boosted up our possession stats, but we didn't dominate the game with a playmaker, buzzing the ball around and not letting the other team sort of touch the ball. Conte was good in his first 6 months, but when
after that he didn't want to be here.
He didn't want to be here, and everything fell apart.
And then look at what he was given as well.
Yeah, Mourinho's team. Let's face it, he didn't have a very good team. Aside from Son and Kane, there was failures all over the pitch with Mourinho. So really, the last team that we had attacking possession-based football for me is Poch. So I want to see Frank instill that again at Spurs. Because if we are going to keep Frank, and I hope we do, assuming that he does well, if he does crap, I'm going to judge him just like I did Ange and want him gone, right? But assuming that he does well this season and he stays for the long term, that's what football I want to see from Spurs. I want to see Pochettino redknapp football, not
1 second, Maz. I just got to deal with something. Tony, that's uncalled for, fella. Everyone's allowed their opinion. That's one warning. Carry on, and I'll just fucking kick you out. There's plenty of women that know their football, yeah? And I know a few of them on here. So back off on that aspect, yeah? That's uncalled for.
Queen Ellie being one of them.
Exactly. And others who come on here like Kate and that and Sue and everything, they know their shit.
Yeah, exactly. What do you reckon, Benji and Dan? Is that I know Dan likes the Conte ball, which I do like Conte ball as well, actually.
It doesn't just mean defensive when you play 5 at the back, though. And people seem to think that's just out and out defense. It's not. When you play 5 at the back, you can play counter-attacking, direct, fast football. And then when it's going in your favour, you go to keep him free at the back, bring the wing backs up to midfield and up to wingers, basically. And there's a lot you can do with it. It's just how I prefer it. But I wouldn't play that formation against someone like today, like Bournemouth or other teams like that you're meant to be, that you should wipe the floor with and control the game. For me, that's more against how you play a hard game as such. Yeah.
No, that's fair. I mean, look, listen, Maz, I'm completely with you. I miss the Pochettino style football. Good Lord, that was just, they were my happiest memories as a Tottenham fan. That and Harry Redknapp. But I think, look, obviously Frank is a different manager to him, and I feel like the way Frank sets up, which is really quite ingenious, is he always seems to set up to nullify a team's best attributes, and I think that in itself gives the team, opportunities to go forward and attack. I don't know what style he's going to do. You'd like to think he'd have more of a dominant mindset in terms of how the game's going to play out. But you know what? As long as I see what I've seen for the last 3, 4, 5 games, and I'm including some of the friendlies, I'm happy. Just go out there, nullify, and win the game. For me, those 3 points are all important. I don't care how really we do it.
I agree. I guess one of the reasons why I'm saying that as well is because we've done quite well against Man City. We actually had quite a bit of the ball. Don't you think that sets, if we can show that we can dominate games and be that team that, if you're sort of below us in the hierarchy of the league, we're going to pump you no matter what. Yeah. That for me is what's going to give me confidence in Frank. That is the right guy for us, long term.
Yeah, of course. No, I'm with you, mate, and I do think that'll be the case.
I think with Frank, it also showed something that I've been saying for a while now. That if you get, he's basically played bar a player the same way, isn't he? 2 players, sorry. He's basically played with the same team, bar 2 players, but he's also lost attacking players out of it. You get a team playing in the right formation that suits that team, get everybody playing to what they're actually good at, not just what you want them to be good at, and you can make a good team look very good. Or last season, we weren't even an average team. We was fucking shit. And that's all there is to it. I don't think anyone can dispute that. Yeah, we had a good game or two, but we was absolutely fucking shocking last year. And when it comes down to it, we was just lucky we didn't get relegated last year because there were 3 dog shit teams in the Premiership, as far as I'm concerned there. And playing it the right way, it already looks totally different. We look like we've got organisation at the back. We look like we're organised. We look like we know what we are doing. It's obvious we still need players there. I mean, with the next games we've got, I mean, I know we've got the international break coming up. We should do Bournemouth today. I'm saying 2-0. I think we can go with that. And you're saying 3-0, Maz?
Yeah, 3-0.
And Benj?
Yeah, I'm on the same boat, mate. Hate to sound like an echo chamber, but yeah, for me, 3-0. I'd like to think. I'm gutted that we're not going to see Xavi. Like it's going to be weeks as well.
Yeah,
that'll be fine. And then after that, we've got West Ham when we come back off the international. Now, personally, that is a game I personally think. I know West Ham always seem to like to turn up whenever we play them, and that it's like their cup match as such. But you know what? 1 second. Carry on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was just
with West Ham.
Yeah, no, I was just looking at that comment as well. So I mean, I'm looking at our next few fixtures. You know, we've got West Ham, we've got Brighton, we've got Wolves, we've got Leeds, we've got Aston Villa. I mean, I'd like to think that's going to be 4 wins out of 5 there, and maybe I feel like Villa.
Well, if Ange can pump Villa,
well, it's true. It's true.
Should be able to pump Villa, and I don't think. Here's the thing. Here's my prediction. I don't think Villa are going to be anywhere near what they were as seasons gone by. I think they've had their run. They put all their eggs in their basket last year. When they got Asensio and Rashford and everything, they went for it,
and it just didn't quite work for them.
Didn't quite work. Didn't pay off. Watkins, everyone's a year older now in that team.
Yeah.
We're sniffing around Rodgers. I think that's BS anyway, but I just can't see them doing it again this season. I just can't see it.
Well, you've got to think, out of those 5 teams I've mentioned, they've all been severely weakened. I mean, West Ham, no kudos. Brighton, they've lost a couple of
West Ham, for me, they're going to fight not to go down this year.
Relegation.
Yes, and I agree. And then you've got the likes of Wolves. They've lost their star man in Cunha. I feel like we could pick up a decent amount of points. Who knows? We might go and beat them for our first 10 Premier League games. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Well, I haven't heard your opinion on this. Out of Akalush, Lookman, I don't think Akalush is a serious thing. By the way, I haven't seen any gossip around that much. But let's say Akalush, Lookman, and Paqueta. Out of those 3, who would you guys want to fit into our squad?
Do you know what? But for me, if it's right, that for me, and this is going to sound, a bit ignorant of me, I don't know much about Akalush, so I can't really comment. I'd like to pretend that I know what I'm talking about with him, but I don't. Paqueta, we know what he's capable of, although I do feel like, if I'm honest, we've seen his peak and his performances have dropped ever since. I think if you've got to go for your informed man, it'd probably have to be Lookman. I don't know what you think, Danny.
Yeah.
I'd go for Lookman personally. I think he's come up leaps and bounds since he's been at Atalanta.
I've actually seen quite a bit of Akalush. I think he's a good player, Akalush. Loads of potential.
Can you give us a rundown of what? Can you give us like a quick review for people that don't know?
Yeah, he's like, how am I going to describe him to you? He's a little bit like Kudus in the sense that he's always willing to take on his man, right? And he's quite good with the ball close to his feet, and he can spot a pass and he can score a goal. But I don't think he's prolific. He won't score tons and tons of goals, and he won't get tons and tons of assists. And what I worry about him as a player is, I think in the Premier League he would struggle with the physicality of it. Like, I don't think he can withstand getting absolutely taken out. Whereas if you compare him directly to Kudus is a lot stronger as a player. Whereas Akalush, I think, is a little bit more skinny. You know, he's not got as much about him. He's not got that lower center of gravity as what
I mean, De
Kudus has got.
Ketelaere is one who I'd go for. It depends on what we're doing with Simmons. It's just the fact of whether we've bought him as a 10 or a left winger, that's where the next transfer, if there is another transfer, is going to show. I mean, for me to get a number 10, I'd quite happily have De Ketelaere from Atalanta as well. I think he's a good player. Him or Lookman, either one of them two. I'd go
I mean, Akalush, he's not a number 10. He's a left-sided player.
So it depends what we want Simmons for, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Basically.
See, but Simmons, and I've seen a shitload of Simmons, or Dutch international, and his times at PSG and PSV and all that sort of stuff. Is it PSV? Was it PSV? Can't remember.
PSV, PSG, and then Leipzig.
Leipzig, yeah. For me, he's much better in the middle, because he's really good at driving with the ball. He can spot a pass. He's not scared of a tackle. He's good. He stays on his feet quite a bit as well. So for me, he's just a lot more effective as a number 10, a hell of a lot more effective. And as Benji said earlier, when you compare the stats between him and Eze, I just think he's a better player, and he's younger as well. He's 22, and he feels like he's been around for like forever, like 6-7 seasons. Like he's been around for ages as a player. So I don't know. He's a number 10 for me. I'll be really disappointed if he sticks him out on the wing because, well, I don't think he will because we've got no number 10. But he may want to shoehorn Sarr into the team. And that's what I'm a little bit worried about. Is he in his sort of, in him trying to be fair to the players that are playing well, is he just going to shoehorn Sarr into the team and put Simmons out on the left? That's why if we buy in Lookman, which is, I think, my preferred choice, one, because he knows the Prem a little bit, although he wasn't that good when he was in the Prem. Well, I'd say he wasn't that good. He's okay.
At best.
Okay at best, yeah. It sort of forces that position to be taken up by a specific player. And this is going to sound really like cynical, but anything that keeps Tell out of the team is a really good thing in my book. I'm being serious. Sure, I know.
I'm sure we don't know what you're talking about, Maz.
Yeah, like if he can, put Lookman out on the left, that means you're playing Simmons for me in his strongest position, and you've got Lookman on, obviously as on the left side. You got Kudus on the right, then you got whoever as your point man, and then you got Sarr to rotate around Paulinho and Bentancur, rather than trying to shoehorn Sarr in because he feels that he's playing well, right? And then playing like your best three players a little bit out of position because you're trying to shoehorn your midfielder in. I don't want that. I think that just shows a little bit of weakness. The only time that I would want Sarr to be shoehorned in, assuming that Bentancur and Paulinho are playing well, is when we play teams like Bournemouth. Not Bournemouth. When we're playing teams like Man City or Liverpool, where you just want people to cover the pitch and close them down, and you're playing a high pressing game.
I mean, at the minute, Simmons for me is the number 10. But like last season, he played 16 times on the left, scored 5, 4 assists. He played 15 times as the attacking midfielder, whether you want to call it a playmaker, whatever, scored 6, assisted 4. And then he just played second striker once and left midfield once. So he basically played one more on the left than he did on the right. So in that aspect, for me, it does come down to if we buy next. Do you think that we might have even looked on him to play him on the left as the next Son as such?
Maybe. Yeah. But the thing is, though, when you're reading out those two stats, you're talking about 6 games. And out of those games, what did you say? He scored 6 and set up 4.
On the left, he scored 5 and set up 4. On attacking midfield central, he scored 6 and set up 4.
That's bloody good stats. Don't you think?
But the beauty of him,
positions.
Yeah.
but this is the thing. The beauty of this guy, the way he plays in game, he is suited to play either, which is such a nice thing. But I genuinely think, predominantly he's been brought for that left side, that left wing is what I think.
But don't you think that's a bit weird though? I think that's weird. I don't know, man. Sorry to keep going on about it. Like,
say what you want.
Why would you spend 40 million on Tell then? Why would you spend 40 million on Tell and then go and spend 60 million or 60 million euros on Simmons for the same position? So you spent £100 million to cover Son.
I think the only way I can answer that, Maz, is who we are, mate. That's the only thing I can say about it, basically, because that would be strange. But I think if there's another transfer, I think that's then going to show more of what we got Simmons for. But and how he wants to play with his number 10. Does he want him as a playmaker even, or does he want him as a attacking midfield presser, basically, or a second striker even? I think that's where we're going to have to wait about 10 games.
What makes you both
we're then going to say?
Yeah, what makes you both right in terms of maybe they did buy him for the left is if we've lost out on Savio or Savinho, whatever his bloody name is, that would then tell me, okay, they actually did buy him for the left because that's what Savinho or Savio would have played, right?
Yeah.
So then what are they thinking about for the bloody number 10, Benji? It doesn't make any sense, man. I don't get it.
It's a tough one. You just don't know. It's really hard to call. I think, again, it boils down to time will tell, won't it, I suppose? Yeah. It's very difficult to guesstimate something like that. And like Dan said, I think going off our next signing, obviously after Akanji, if that's who it is, I think will tell us really and truly, what the plan is with him. But again, I suppose it does go back to something I said. He's so good, it just doesn't matter whether he's 10 or left. So it's a nice thing to have, I suppose.
It gives us options, doesn't it?
Which is something Frank loves because, he's all about, it's not adjusting, what's the word? He's, he's basically so flexible with formations and he likes players that have a variety of different positions they can play. So, again, he's perfect. Perfect.
I mean, so do you two think then that on the Simmons we got a better deal than Arsenal did with Eze?
Yeah, on the whole, it looks like it, doesn't it, boys? Let's be honest. 51 mil as well.
I think it's taken the shine off Eze massively for them, if I'm honest. I think if Arsenal fans were really, really honest with themselves, like if you did a proper poll, not and I think a lot of them would choose Simmons over Eze. I would personally. Don't get me wrong. I really wanted Eze. I think he's a great player.
No two ways about it.
But
I think
Simmons, for me, having seen him so much for all of his clubs, to be honest, not so much in his earlier years. I think he's just a phenomenal player. I've always wanted him, but I just thought he's just out of reach for us. I just never thought we'd get him.
I mean, a lot of it comes down to, I think, is when you weigh up the players, I do think they are two different players. I mean, I think Eze is definitely more physical. I think Simmons is definitely better on his feet and quicker. Eze has experience in the Champions League as such, which some people say counts for nothing. I think it does actually count for something. I think Simmons is a better goal scorer. Goal assists, I think you're going to see similar because Eze is now going to a better team at Arsenal than Palace, and I do think you're going to see him come up a level or two. But I'd say Simmons is quicker, even though Eze ain't slow. I'd say you can just weigh it up quite similar in a few ways. It's just I think that Simmons is also more adaptable in the way of, now don't get me wrong, Eze can play out on the left, but I think Simmons can play a better job of doing left and 10 easier than Eze can left or number 10, if you get where I'm coming from. I'm not saying Eze can't handle either position, of course he can, but I think Simmons can handle the 10 just as good as he can the left, whereas Eze can more than handle the 10, but not quite as good on the left. Where Simmons, his stats show he could do both just as good as the other.
Yeah.
And for 51 million, I do think we got the steal of the transfer window there so far, if I'm going to be
100%.
honest.
I think that's the signing of the window.
Yeah. And that's not just coming as a Spurs fan and that. I do actually think for 50.
But
I
value-
was expecting a
like
70
value
million
for
deal
money
there.
and all
Yeah.
of that sort of stuff. I think we smashed it. And you see, you know what's? I don't know. Isn't Akanji 30? Is he 30 now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why are we buying him then? It doesn't make sense.
I think
Why
we
are we
need some
buying him?
depth and age in that squad as well as young players, though. And I don't see
Yeah.
nothing wrong with a 30-year-old defender, personally. A defender can be a defender until he's 34, 35. It's more up front when a player relies on pace that when he starts hitting his 30s, he starts coming down. I mean, look what happened with Son, basically. As soon as he lost a yard or two, he lost a big part of his game, didn't he? Whereas usually you find a lot of, say, defensive type of players as such, where their main part of their game isn't pace, they last a lot longer usually.
Do you think that Frank has seen something in the last two games, obviously over the summer and the last two games, that's making him think, you know what, VDV or Danzo aren't as good as what I think they are?
No, surely not. I mean, going back to your point about Akanji being 30 years old, that's not faulty. I mean, for me, like especially with a defender, no, I think it's a really good age. Look, I think for a defender, I feel like a prime for a defender is between 28 and 33. Personally,
I wouldn't quite go 33, but
you wouldn't go 33. Okay,
No.
okay. How high
No,
would you
John
go?
Terry was bloody good even in his later years. Even
Yeah, but that's a total different kettle of fish, isn't it? I mean, come on, he's one of the best defenders the Premier League's ever seen.
But even like Vertonghen, how old was Vertonghen when he left us? 32, 33?
About 33, coming on 34.
He was. I don't know why we sold him.
I'm
He
so
must
with
have
you
wanted
there.
to leave. I know he probably wanted to leave in the end, right? But I don't even know why we sold Alderweireld as well. To be honest with you, it's just, that was a bit weird.
Both premature, but you weren't hearing that from the fans. I would have lost a yard of pace. They're no good. That's what I was seeing a lot of, mate. Blew my mind. I mean, that's the Belgian barrier right there.
We had bloody Dyer as slow as fucking anything, wasn't he? And he was
like a bus.
It's again, it depends how you want your defender to play. Do you want him to play as a playmaker, or do you want him to play as a centre back, or do you want to play? The way I prefer doing it is having a ball playing defender if I'm playing with two central defenders and a no nonsense centre back. So like a Danzo with a Romero, or a Danzo with a Van der Ven, or a Dragusin with Ethan. But that's just me personally. Yeah, that's just where I've got my Italian style in me as such, where I do like that no nonsense centre back there, basically. But I think Akanji, I think experience a hell of a lot comes with a defender. More than most positions. Yeah, you can say a striker as well. You can say it counts for a lot of things. But for me, with a defender, I think experience is a massive thing. Bigger than most places.
Yeah, but it just doesn't make sense. I don't know. I don't think I understand it, Dan, if I'm honest with you. I just my this is my final thoughts on it. It's not as if Porro's inexperienced now. You know, he's 25, 26 years old, right? Yeah. And he's played, for big clubs. Danzo is not young anymore. He's been around for a few years in terms of he's 24. Is it 24, 25, 26, around that, roughly that age?
I think he's 26.
Yeah, so it's not inexperienced. Romero, we know Romero. Van der Ven's been, he's not inexperienced now, I would say, albeit he's a young man anyway. He no doubt will improve as he grows older, hopefully. And then it just comes down to Spence and Udogie. They're pretty young, early 20s, aren't they? I think Spence is 23, 24.
24, I think Spence is.
So what experience are we really adding to it? What are we gaining? Dragusin is young, albeit... Does he need more experience? When he comes back, I just don't understand it, man.
No, I hear you, I do. But look, listen, Akanji has won it all, and he's won the big boy stuff with Manchester City. He's won the Prem, he's won the Champions League. I think that level of experience he has won the Champions League, right? Yeah. For a second there. I feel like that sort of experience is invaluable. I mean, you know, really and truly, we've only got one in the squad that I can think of that is an out and out winner, and that is Romero. So I certainly don't think it would do any damage bringing him in.
Okay, let me pose this question: then. Is he better? Is Akanji better? Right, because I've never paid that much attention to Akanji. I've got to admit, even though I've seen him play, I've never paid attention to him. Is he better then than Danzo and Dragusin, assuming they're both fit and play and available?
That's a good question. For me, only because of how much football Dragusin's played, he's better than Dragusin. I think you'd be quite comfortable saying that's hands down. Danso, that's a tough one because I really, really like and really rate Danso.
Yeah, I do. Because here's the thing, and I'm not, but I think the word devil's advocate's been used a lot. But when Dragusin was fit during his time at Spurs, a lot of the time I felt he was better than Romero.
I think the only downside to Dragusin is at the time we were playing a high line and it just does not suit him. No, yeah, it's not. So I think, do you know what? I'm actually excited to see Dragusin under Frank. But this is to one of my points I made the other day. I don't feel like we need another defender. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy that Akanji would come in. If he does, brilliant. But I just don't feel like that is a particular area we need to worry about. Are you boys of the same thinking or no?
If it brings experience to the club and better options, I'm happy with it. I think Danzo is a good defender. I mean, just looking at Akanji, he played 4 games as right back and he played 34 games as centre back. And I just think he brings that extra depth to us that we're going to need, because we all know that Romero and Van der Ven do seem very injury prone. Now, with Van der Ven, I think a lot of that came down to the fact of the way Ange played football. I mean, you couldn't ask for a fella to cook his fucking legs anymore than if you tried, could you? I mean, he might as well have cut them off and stick them on a fucking kebab, for fuck's sake, the way he treated the fella, you know? But it gives us that depth. It gives us that rotation, because our main 2 centre-backs are known to be injury prone.
Yeah. Well. No, that's not true.
Though I just, you know what? This is. I think we've had a really good window, but my God, have we done some confusing bloody things at the same time?
Yeah.
Right. And why did we buy bloody Phillips? And what's happening with Belize is it's all coming to me now. All the Ange trauma is coming to me.
Waste of time.
Yeah. Right. Like. Why have we gone and bought more kids? And Takai's quite young, isn't he, as well?
I have a theory on Takai.
Go on.
Money. Try to get into that Japanese market.
Asian
yes, we did it with Son.
It makes perfect sense in that aspect. And again, at 5 million, who's really complaining if he
but you're only going to get that return of investment from that perspective if he plays for Spurs, i.e. he's involved, because they ain't going to fly from around the world to go and see him sit on the bench if that's their angle. And that's the problem with that the Yang chap as well, which is why I think they're sending him out on loan to try and see if he can hack it and be ready for the Prem.
Have you seen much of him, Maz? Because I really like that.
I saw one game when he was at QPR, and it didn't really set my world alight.
Okay. Might have been a rough game.
I'm not saying he's bad. He just didn't do anything in that game.
He's got a little something, brother. Believe me.
The other defensive side of it is there is games where I believe we are going to play 3 at the back. Yeah. Like we did against PSG, and I know we do it in the middle of games as such, but there is going to be games that we come up like, say, Liverpool, or even Arsenal maybe, or even, teams like that can attack, that we will play 3 at the back, because we know Frank has got the capability.
Maybe that is, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Dan. I think it's for that. Yeah. I think it's got to be, isn't it? It's got to be, because he's expecting to pay that 5-3-2 formation.
Now I'm not saying he's going to do it every game, but there's certain games. Okay, we went 4-2-3-1 with City, and we went to 5 at the back in the middle of the game and stuff like that and chopped and changed it. But I do think there is going to be games where we are going to start with 5 at the back, basically, or 3 at the back, whatever you want me to call it. And at the moment, we go with 3 at the back. We've got Van der Ven, we got Romero, we got Danzo. And then you can say when Dragusin comes back, we've got him. And then Ben Davies, for me, isn't even a backup player anymore, if I'm going to be honest, yeah?
Unless...
we got one space there.
Unless they're thinking, we've signed Davies for an extra year, but he's going in January.
Maybe.
Because that wouldn't surprise me, right? That they've got an expectation that they're going to, you know, basically move. Maybe he wants to move on to another club to finish out his career somewhere. Do you see what I mean? His last few years of his career, that would make sense then.
Yeah, so I think it just gives us more depth on the back for when we want to do 3 at the back. Because if it gets to a certain stage and we get 2 injuries in defenders, we can't go 3 at the back. And I do feel Frankie's going to use that in a couple of games.
Yeah.
So I think it opens up the option of being able to use a 3 at the back. And when you're using 3 at the back, one of them needs to come off or whatever, then you've got the option of Akanji, or Akanji might even start over Danzo, so you can bring Danzo in, or Dragusin. It just gives you that more option when you've got 3 at the back. That's what I think it could be for, basically. And for 15, 20 mil for a player with his experience and that, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, it's not exactly a massive problem, is it? Let's be honest. I don't mind it when it's good buys like that, which is why I don't mind Bergvall for 11 million, and I'm happy to wait for him to turn good. But Gray at 40, I want him to be good at the box. I don't want to wait 3-4 years when you spunk 40 million up the wall for him to turn good. And the same with Tell.
Point.
That's 80 million quid there that we could have gone and bought a Kudos Simmons type player that was ready now or last season.
And that's what most of us argue, and they think it's a hate thing. It's not. We say the same thing about Tell and Odobert. So if we are stuck on the right-hand side as such, say Adogi's out and Porro gets out, okay, you've got the option. We can bring Akanji in and stick Van der Ven on the left, because he did play that for Holland most of the time as a left wing-back. But you'd want to keep him more in the middle and keep Spence over there. And then that also gives you another option of sticking Akanji out on the right, even though it isn't his prime side. And then I also think it could come down to the game we play as well. If we want to play a game and we need to be that bit more defensive at the back, but not go ultra defensive at the back sort of thing, that is where you could stick Akanji out on the right and keep Spence on the left. Because one thing Adogi and Porro are not good at is defending. When it comes to defending, they are both very poor. People can tell me Porro's improved. Yes, he's gone from shit to poor when it comes to defending, as far as I'm concerned, yeah? So, okay, he's improved, but he is not a defensive player. He is an attacking, overlapping wing-back. So if we wanted to play 4 at the back and needed to just be that and play with full-backs instead of wing-backs as such, I think that gives us that little extra option to be defensive.
Yeah.
It just gives us all round a bit more option in defence. So I think Akanji is... Who would you rather have out of the choice, though? Akanji or Ake? Okay. If it was one or the other. Because I have heard
I've seen a lot more of Ake. I've seen a lot more of Ake than I have Akanji. I've paid a lot more notice to Ake than I have Akanji, whatever his name is, in the past. So, I mean, Ake is I think he's a good defender.
I don't think he's bad.
No. 100%. I mean, for me, I think I feel like Akanji, Ake would be better in a back 3 because he's quite a fast little guy as well. But for me, I feel like they're both quite similar in terms of quality. So I personally don't really mind.
I don't know whether
same age as well, roughly. Isn't it?
Yes, yeah, they are.
I don't know if this is a controversial thing to say, but I don't know whether Ake is. Because Danzo's really impressed me. I think he's a really good player. It's not. I don't think he's the fastest, but he's certainly not the slowest.
No.
And I don't know.
I agree. I don't think he gets noticed as much because he's just a no-nonsense centre back. No fucking about with ball playing, defending. No piss ball.
Well, he doesn't make. I don't. You know what it is. I don't know whether it's because he's no nonsense. I think he doesn't make many mistakes, and because he doesn't.
That's
make
what I
many
mean by no
mistakes-
nonsense. He doesn't piss ball about. If in doubt,
Yeah.
kick it out, sort of thing. He's just a good old school John Terry type of player, Tony Adams sort of thing, and that is why he's not going to get noticed as much, because I think he's more the defender, when I say no nonsense, who's just going to do the dirty work as such. Not get the ball and then run out with it and give a pass like Van der Ven can and Romero can. He's just going to be the one that gets the ball and boots it out when he has to, makes that tackle when he has to, puts his head on the line when he has to, and he's also good in the air. But I just think either them two defenders, they just add us that bit much more depth. But if we want to play defensive, if at times we want to play five at the back, or we need it a bit more defending on the wings, on the fullbacks. I mean, with question here, lads in chat, would you start Solanke against his old club today and give Richie a rest?
I kept this on the screen for a reason, because I would like to focus to the other end of the pitch now. Genuinely, I'd like to hear opinions on Solanke. I feel like people have kind of dogged him a little bit. If you want my opinion on the guy, don't get me wrong, Richie's done fantastic. He has. But Solanke, bless him, he played last season as a CDM for most of the season. You know, he wasn't really in that striker position too often. He was so far back, it's almost frightening. I feel like Solanke has got a lot more to offer than Richie. Where do you guys stand on Solanke?
I've got to go. I've got, and I'll end on this, Dan, if you don't mind.
No, it's fine.
I don't rate either of them.
No,
in fact, the more I see of both Richie, excluding the two good games that Richie's had, they just piss me off, because
they're bang average at best.
Yeah, I'm used to Kanes and Sons and Kings and Defoes and all the great strikers we've had in the past. Even even when we had Adebayor and Pavlyuchenko, they're better than those players, that we've got now. So I just think it's such a step back for Spurs as a club, having those two as your primary striker options, that I just don't think either of them are good enough. However, to answer your question more directly, Benji, I think when Solanke's fit, he offers different things to Richarlison, in the sense that he's better on the ball than Richarlison, because I think Richarlison on average has got the worst first touch and second touch I've seen for quite a long time, although Tell's running him close. But Richie scores more goals than Solanke. So if it's just on goals, then yeah, I don't rate either of them. It's just like pick between two bad choices. But Richie does score more goals. Therefore, on that, because he has done well in the last 2-3 games, you can't really drop Richarlison, because how is that fair? He's playing well. Therefore, you're dropping him for Solanke.
But you're right. Frank said that himself this morning, yesterday in the press conference. He said, I can't drop him out of the team. If you're keeping the shirt, if you're scoring goals, that's it. So
that's it, but we've as a club, let's say we sign Lookman. Wow, what an amazing window. But the next big problem at Spurs will be striker, because if we don't sort that out come January or the summertime, and that might be the difference between us doing well in the Champions League and or qualifying again for the Champions League. We have to sort that position out massively. That is a big problem for Spurs, because there isn't that many top strikers around at the moment. No. See, I would take a punt on Mihajlovic if we can get him for a decent price. But that is a punt, because we just don't know what he's going to be like in the Prem. And is he going to discover that same form he had at Fiorentina? Do you see what I mean? So I don't know what you think about that, Dan, because you watch a lot more Italian football than I do.
It is just going to be one of them questionable ones of how will they do over here, basically, isn't it? I mean, for me,
But he hasn't lit up the world a lot at Juventus, though, has he? Like, he's
No,
not being
he
that
hasn't.
player.
No, he hasn't. It's just I rate. Well, if I say I rate, that's the wrong way to put it. I just don't rate Solanke or Richarlison at the end of the day.
Just crap.
It is what it is. Right, I'm going to end it there because I'm going to go have something to eat. And thanks for you lot for coming on. Much appreciated.
Thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure, mate. If you give us a quick like and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. Nearly on 5k, got about another 30 to go, if I remember right. And going to direct you over to who is on at the moment, Irish Hotspur. So when you go over there, if you just say HotspurHood Raid, be appreciated. Thanks for everyone watching. Thanks for guests. And 2-0 today, I think, will be the score. And
Cool.
Let's hope everything keeps going well when we get our transfer. Take care, you two. Have a good day, and have a good day, everyone else.
Hey, everyone. See you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Take it down. Give it to me like